95.3 MNC Studios on John 70 News Talk 95.
What's up, everybody?
Michiana's News Channel.
Wizzo Dizzo. Hit that like button. Make sure you hit that.
Weekday mornings on 95.3 MNC. Your breaking news and weather station. News powered by C. Kramer Interiors. Elegance and style. Value your home with brands like Stickley, Hancock, Theodore, Alexander, and Hickory White. You're invited to their home. C. Kramer Interiors on University Drive in Granger.
Are you overpaying?
Thanks, Frank.
Sam? Will you pay more taxes than necessary when you retire? Surveys show that most American adults get.
Wow, you're all pumping in. Nice.
Tax basics. And while
Very
investors
cool.
are concerned about rising taxes,
Mom, I got the box. I'm going to call you after work.
Casey Weed,
It's sitting here right next to me. I got it.
When I got my start as a financial advisor, I was really just a trained salesperson. But
Since I'm homeless, my mom has to mail me things for my daughters at my work address.
Selling another financial product added little value to my client's bottom line. The only guarantees you're going to get in life are death and taxes. So why not start planning around the one you can control? Call Howard Bailey today and see how the new tax laws can benefit your bottom line.
It's funny because Shannon was like, "You're not going to put some stupid music over the video, are you?" I can't just have it there just silent. You can't hear anything in the helmet.
866-482-9559. 866-482-9559.
Advisory services may be offered.
Well, I wouldn't, I don't know for sure if it's because of the construction or not, man, but it's ugly.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner.
It's
CEO
real
for
ugly right
America's
now.
largest mortgage lender. Spring is prime home buying season. So if you're thinking about buying a home,
They're
right now
pretty
is
sure
the
they can't
lock
get
a low
control
rate,
of
which
it.
can
It's just
save
going to
you
do what
money
it was.
every month on your new mortgage. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected.
And that was, so that was, my microphone's not set up to go ahead and do moto vlogging yet. And so I was talking in that video because I recorded probably 25 minutes of video on the bike, and you couldn't hear me. So at that point, it was just, I will post a little quick thing with some music in the background, and then we'll go ahead and do the other stuff.
And get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
That's funny, Mike. That's funny.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed rate loans. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Nice, Kelly. Here we go.
The Hendrickson News Talk 95 News Channel.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Nice. Sorry, I was reading something. 95.3 MNC. And, of course, I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That's 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I did Todd Starnes' radio program here about 15 minutes ago. I got done. I will play a little bit of that later on in the program today. I do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, again, located in New Carlisle, Indiana. You go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. Don't forget, when you go out there, you mention me, and you get half off your range time. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, I have just updated the Discord subscription link. So if you want to join the Discord server, you can go ahead and do that. I forgot to update it before the show. So you can click on that, and you'll be able to join Discord with all of us. So for everybody who's watching on YouTube at youtube.com/Casey the Host, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get notified when we go live or upload a new video. I did post a video up earlier today of me riding my Indian Scout motorcycle from Elkhart Indian Motorcycle for the first time on an actual drive. It's just a 60-second clip, but a lot of people really dug it, so I appreciate that. Moto vlogging is coming to the YouTube channel, by the way. If you're on Twitch at twitch.tv/Casey the Host, please follow. And we'll have everything set up with my affiliate status here in the next day or two. So we have to, unfortunately, start the show today with what's happening at Notre Dame, and that's Notre Dame in France. The cathedral is ablaze, and it is bad. The spire has collapsed. The roof is gone, they say, and they expect the entire wooden frame to burn. So it's a really hot fire. It's awful. It's now becoming nighttime, and you can really see exactly how hot this is burning. And you know, the authorities have basically been coming out and saying that we don't know that we're going to be able to save anything that is not stone in this thing. So, yeah, the pictures of it are just awful. I mean, it's completely changed in its structure and its look. It was undergoing renovations. They're saying that it might be tied to the renovations. I noticed a couple of people saying that they're not exactly sure that that is the case. And I don't know. We're going to have to wait until we figure out exactly what's going on. The fire is still happening there. But, you know, this is obviously the Notre Dame Cathedral. I mean, this is a religious landmark for humanity, especially in the Christian world. And right now it is just completely ablaze and it is still burning hot. So I went to heavy.com. And the reason I went to heavy.com is because heavy.com initially, when these things are kind of breaking, they do a really good job of kind of disseminating what is and is not available as far as info is concerned. So they said the fire broke out at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, France, Monday, is believed to have been caused by an accident related to the restoration work being done on the cathedral. That's according to police. Again, we don't know for sure, and they don't either because they haven't been in there. France's prosecutor has opened a full investigation into the fire, but again, they can't get in there, so they have to wait until the fire is out and it's safe to actually go inside. The building was undergoing a $6.8 million renovation project on badly needed improvements, according to the AP. Flames were seen billowing from the historic Catholic Cathedral at around 7 p.m. local time in Paris. The fire did an enormous amount of damage to the structure, causing the 750-ton spire atop the cathedral to collapse. The video of that is awful, and that was caught in broad daylight. Police say no deaths have been reported, thank God. It is unclear if anybody has been injured. We're still waiting for that. Church spokesman said that the entire structure was likely destroyed in the fire. Everything is burning. Nothing will remain from the frame, according to Notre Dame spokesman Andre Finot. And that's where, you know, the sad part is. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't be able to salvage, you know, pieces of this or all of it. You know, who knows? But the frame, we'll have to see exactly what happens here. I know that after the spire collapsed, the fire department was basically just dumping water into the hole of where the spire was just to try and fill it up with as much water on the bottom as they possibly could to save what they could. Let's see. Andre Finot, again, the spokesman for Notre Dame, says there will be nothing left. It remains to be seen whether the vault, which protects the cathedral, will be affected or not. The cathedral, which sees more than 10 million tourists per year, has survived more than 850 years. It is home to numerous works of art. The fire caused French President Emmanuel Macron to postpone a televised national speech. Our Lady of Paris is in flames. Emotion for the whole nation, a thought for all Catholics and for all French, like all our countrymen. I'm sad tonight to see this part of us burn, he said in a statement on social media. And like I said, it's awful to see this. I mean, it really is. It's just terrible. So the good news at this point in time, there doesn't appear to be any deaths. We're still waiting to hear if anybody has been injured. And of course, there's always the possibility that firefighters will be injured as they continue to battle the blaze, because this blaze is still going strong. And we're looking at pictures of it right now. It's 9:12 local time, and the flames are just raging. And the entire structure of the building looks completely different than it did a few hours ago. And it would be almost unrecognizable as the Cathedral of Notre Dame to anybody who is looking at it right now. So awful moment, but we'll keep you updated on that as we continue to watch this. They are continuing to battle the blaze to try and save what they can. But ultimately, there is great fear that it is burning so hot that they will not be able to save any of that wooden frame, which could, of course, be a catastrophe. We'll keep you updated on that. Of course, stay tuned here to 95.3 MNC as those updates do come in. All right. A couple of things have been going on this past weekend. I will get to my stuff in the 4 o'clock hour, but obviously, most of you know that Pete Buttigieg has formally announced that he is running for president of the United States. So that has happened. And a lot of people have had very interesting things to say about that. I was just on with Todd Starnes here on his show just a little while ago, about a half hour ago, to talk about this. And, you know, one thing that I did find interesting is that the opposition research on him has been sitting there lying in wait. So one of the other campaigns has made the police tape scandal known, whereas it was just us who had been talking about it. All of a sudden, now he's got his fellow Democrats that he's running against who are looking at this and saying, all right, it's time to take him out. So at least one campaign has felt threatened enough by him to go ahead and bring up the wiretap case, which, of course, continues to be a boondoggle and a controversial issue here. I did talk with Todd Starnes about that. He asked me about it because it came up at the dinner after Talk Tank 2019. And again, it was one of those things that the media's just not been covering. I'm not saying that it disqualifies them. I'm saying that if you're going to properly vet a candidate, you got to bring everything good and bad, and you've got to put it out into the public and let the public decide. And if you can't do that, you know, there's going to be some issues of people getting upset that they weren't properly informed about something. And the next thing you know, all those early voters are going to be upset that they voted early on somebody that maybe they didn't want to. But at least one other campaign has said, all right, it's time to bring up the police tape scandal. So I guess I haven't been the only person bringing this up. So there are some other people that are aware of it, and they've now weaponized it. We'll talk about that. Of course, get your reaction, if you have any, to the mayor of South Bend announcing that he is officially in the race and running for president, even though we all knew that was going to happen anyway. So we'll take those calls coming up next, and we'll tell you what's happening with the police tape scandal now being in the news since he is officially announced over the weekend. Coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news.
Your breaking news and weather station.
All right. Served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 25 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
I don't know. I don't know if any of the Kings are buried in there or not. I'm not sure.
Professionals 5-day forecast.
A few morning clouds.
I know that they talked about the vault and whether or not the vault would be affected by all of this, but I don't know what's in the vault.
Only right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight we'll hold on to a little bit more cloud cover though, which temperatures dropping down here 38 degrees. And for Tuesday, 67 degrees for the daytime high, mostly cloudy skies. We'll see a chance for a few isolated showers.
That's pretty awful though.
Stay dry. For Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies again, with temperatures even warming up near 70 degrees. A chance for a few showers for northern counties. It's going to be pretty limited. The most likelihood of seeing showers and even thunderstorms will come our way on Thursday with the high of 68. And the ABC 57 first warning.
So homeless is going to have to be something that comes up as well. You know, there's plenty that you can bring up. There's plenty that can be addressed. There's obviously been a huge issue with the homeless population here. And a lot of people feel that that is worthy of bringing up when you're looking at the campaign.
Durability, reliability, and comfort.
Yeah, the art will be a huge loss because there are priceless pieces of art in there.
X-Mark, ready to work for you.
I don't know for sure, but what I assume is there's so much oil-based stuff in there that it's just burning hot. I mean, the flames are just raging still.
X-Mark is offering great incentives on Quest zero-turn riders, starting as low as $29.99. Check out all the special X-Mark deals today at Weaver Ag and Lawn Equipment in South Bend.
X-Mark, ready to work for you.
Hey, my friend's retail store was the victim of IoT password theft.
Yep. Cyber criminals are taking over security cameras, payment systems, and other IoT devices by exploiting vulnerabilities.
What if they target us and our dispersed network?
We're secured with Barracuda. We have advanced firewalls for our sites, enhanced security for our cloud infrastructure, and total email protection.
Got a few calls coming in, John.
Protect your business at
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey? Yep, what is it?
Take care, Tracy. Thanks for stopping by.
All right.
I am commenting on a piece about the tapes right now.
Okay. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it, sir. Bye. It's traffic alert.
Okay. I mean, those flames look like they're 15 feet tall. I mean, they're massive.
And your first name. Rick, and you calling about?
Well, that would be nice, Daisy. Thank you for the
All
info.
right,
That'd be
by,
good.
Fish on the air.
I mean, that is just red hot. The building looks like it's the coals after your campfire finally dies down. I mean, it's just glowing. All right, here we go.
Freeman C.
And UNESCO has just issued a statement that they are ready to save and restore the Notre Dame Cathedral. They're talking about water drops onto the building now and doing what they can to save it. I was just telling the live stream audience, looking at the building live, it is glowing red like your campfire would after it is just turned to coals. I mean, the flames still look like they're huge. I'm just guessing from the TV, but they look like they're at least 15 feet tall. I mean, I have no way of knowing if that's true or not, but they're massive, absolutely massive. So hopefully it won't be a total loss. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Once again, I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. There's a crash at the intersection of Middlebury and Goshen, which is blocking traffic over there. So again, Middlebury and Goshen, there's a crash blocking traffic at that intersection. Thank you for the listeners calling that in. If you have any additional updates, please let us know at 574-25-95-95-3. Traffic is driven by R&B Car Company. Locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. All right, so let's go to hotair.com, and then we'll take some phone calls on this. This is Ed Morrissey. Now, Ed Morrissey is actually based in Indianapolis, last I checked. Like so many others who run for president, Pete Buttigieg's official announcement yesterday came as an anticlimax after having telegraphed the move for weeks, if not months. They call me Mayor Pete. A Democrat told a hometown crowd, highlighting his audacity at running an outsider campaign for the nomination at his young age. The actual surprise came in another direction entirely. Pete Buttigieg, the 37-year-old mayor of South Bend, Indiana, officially announced his presidential bid Sunday afternoon, hoping to make history as the youngest ever and first ever openly gay commander-in-chief. Speaking to a standing room-only crowd inside the downtown tech hub, that had once been the home of long ago shuttered Studebaker. Is that the downtown tech hub, John? Down there? Yeah, technically. All right. I don't go down there that much. I have to ask these things. Long ago shuttered Studebaker car factory, Buttigieg promised to bring to the country the kind of change and innovation that he'd helped to instill in his native South Bend. Okay, I know some of you are laughing right now. Just let me get through this piece. My name is Pete Buttigieg. They call me Mayor Pete. I'm a proud son of South Bend, Indiana, and I am running for president of the United States, he said, prompting a wave of adoring screams from the crowd. I recognize the audacity of doing this as a Midwestern millennial mayor. More than a little bold at age 37, he's to seek the highest office in the land, unquote. Okay. CNN was pretty impressed with the, quote, electric atmosphere, and they talked about that for a little bit. But they also said the CNN got a little ahead of themselves in some of the stuff that they were predicting. And it is really early to be making predictions on this. But Ed Morrissey continues to write, says, of course, it's also easy to compare Buttigieg to others from 2016 and 2012, too, for that matter. Remember Carly Mania, for instance. In the last two competitive Republican cycles, practically every candidate had at least one polling surge, only to fade away quickly after their novelty wore thin with primary voters. Buttigieg fits that model more than he does the Trump model. It seems doubtful that Mayor Pete gives Kamala and Bernie many sleepless nights, at least for now. Or maybe he's causing someone a sleepless night or two. It's hardly a coincidence that, quote, this bomb dropped within hours of Buttigieg's official entry into the race. Now, Ed Morrissey says bomb. I don't say bomb because you and I know, as we've been covering this, that this process has been playing out over the past several weeks, okay? Pete Buttigieg's meteoric rise as a presidential candidate is putting a spotlight on his years as mayor of South Bend, Indiana, which it should, including his demotion of an African-American police chief. He actually fired him initially. An Indiana judge will soon rule on whether to release 5 cassette tapes of secretly recorded conversations between South Bend police officers that led to a 2012 demotion of Police Chief Darrell Boykins, the city's first ever black police chief. The South Bend City Council subpoenaed Buttigieg to win release of the tapes, which were at the center of a police department shakeup and a series of lawsuits. Buttigieg's critics say that he's gone to great lengths to conceal the contents of the tapes, which some believe could include racist language by white police officers. Okay, and so then Ed Morrissey writes that hits Buttigieg right in his identity politics wheelhouse. Rather than have the focus on his sexuality and Mike Pence's supposed hostility towards him, suddenly Mayor Pete looks like an all lives matter reactionary. Interesting stuff. So, I have nothing else. I mean, the police tapes stuff had to be addressed. It had to be brought to the forefront. There was no way to get around it. It took some time, but it appears that the opposition research is out now. Rick, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
How you doing, Casey?
Doing well. What's up?
Listen, I was just listening to all the stuff that was being said by Pete yesterday at that rally, and one of the things that upset me was how he was cutting down how the prior generations are not as good as they were trying to make them out to be. And I'm just wondering, how far is he going back, and who's he talking about with that?
That's an interesting question. I mean, he is standing in a Studebaker building, which there's some irony in that. Okay, so for one, he's running on "I revitalized a dead city," right? That's his thing. So then he goes into a building that leaks rain, has a wet floor. There's pictures of it before, people kind of crammed in there, and it wasn't exactly the most pleasant place to be in the world. So there's that. So it doesn't exactly speak revitalization. Oh, and Benjamin Studebaker wrote a scathing article opposing him not too long ago. So it's a double ironic bit. I get what he was trying to do by calling back to history and that sort of thing, but that also brings up your point. When he goes back to those generations, is he talking about the Studebaker generation too?
Right, and that's what I'm wondering, because he was basically shooting at remarks at Trump, which Trump was saying, "Hey, we need to get our country back the way it was, a few generations ago when we were, the power in the world. We took out the Axis power. Without us, it would have never happened." If he's not from that generation, that's pretty harsh. I mean, they pretty much saved the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a hard thing to do. And as time goes on, obviously his campaign's going to evolve. They're going to come up with different things to talk about. He's evolved quite a bit, actually, over the past, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks. His campaign has shifted dramatically and in better directions. I told Todd Starnes today when he asked me, and I said, look, I've said this many times on my show. If I were a strategist and I were given my pick of the litter here of the 19 or so candidates that we have, I'd pick him. And he asked me why. And I said, because personality-wise, attitude-wise, you can draw that compare and contrast with Trump because they've created this caricature of Trump. And you can't really do that with any of the other ones. You can't do it with Biden. You can't go after Trump for being vulgar and his comments about groping women and stuff like that and have all these videos of Biden groping women and kids. You can't do it Kamala Harris. She loses her temper and cusses. So you can't say he's too vulgar. You can't go with a bunch of these other people. And I mean, so what, Swalwell, the guy who threatened to nuke Americans who wanted to keep their guns? I don't know. I don't know who they go with, but Pete Buttigieg is calm, likable, says all of the same policy positions that many in the radical wing, if you would, of the Democratic Party say. But again, he just says them in a nicer way. And the real question about him is, can he get into a dogfight and survive? We don't know if he can fight. We don't know that yet. He's never had to. So that's interesting.
Right. Well, and again, I was just questioning some of his statements, and I mean, I understand trying to shoot at Trump already since he's pulling into it, but again, to shoot down a generation, and who knows how far he's going back exactly, that just doesn't seem to be a very good step if he really wants to make, his campaign, go places.
Yeah, I didn't like the imagery of it either. I mean, he needed a place to go indoors because it was raining and stuff like that. I don't know why they didn't pick the Football Hall of Fame, but who knows? So.
Okay.
All right, man.
Well, that's all I had.
I appreciate it, bud. You take care.
Thank you.
All right. It's so once again, the Football Hall of Fame sits vacant. I don't know if they even had the capacity to do that. I don't know. I've never even been inside. So a couple of text messages floating in here. He announced that he's running, and then Notre Dame burns. No, I mean, come on, people. No. Now, I did make a joke. I made a joke last night that he announced that he was going to run for president, and then we had snow in spring. But then you have the Notre Dame thing today. I wouldn't go that far. Let's see. They won't dump water from air because the AP said ash and water will choke the environment. Thank you. Okay. So that's what they were saying about dumping water from the air on the cathedral. I appreciate that. I didn't catch it. Just kind of saw the little headline there about dumping water, but I couldn't actually listen to the station. So thank you very much. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Once again, if you want to watch the live stream, we are on YouTube at youtube.com/Casey the Host. That's CASEY. You can also find us on Twitch at Casey the Host, so twitch.tv/Casey the Host. And when you're there, make sure you follow me on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and please click on that thumbs up, that like button. That's a big deal for the search metrics on YouTube. We've got to overcome their algorithm, which buries us. So make sure you do that. We've got more coming up in just a couple of minutes. MNC News Time is 3:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel at 95.3mnc.com. I'm John Sidney of the MNC News Center. Among our top stories, most people have heard about it before, the Move Over Law. But if you haven't, better look into it.
This week, Indiana State Troopers will be working with law enforcement partners in Michigan, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia.
If you look at the crowd in France, I mean, they're gathered on various bridges and stuff, and they're just staring.
Which often lead to motorists failing to
Like
move over when they approach an emergency
not even really
vehicle
saying
stop
much.
roadside or at a crash scene. In 1999, Indiana was the first state in the nation to pass such a law requiring motorists to move to the far lane or reduce their speed by 10 miles
Notre
per
Dame
hour
Cathedral
below the posted
/
speed
Paris.
limit when
Yeah, you have to. Otherwise,
oh my God.
Yeah.
vehicles stopped along
Three
the side of the
people.
road.
That's 95.3 MNC's Derek
I mean,
Graham
this is
reporting.
freaking
And a
out.
man from Gary killed in the
Can't
crash
believe
due
we're
to
watching this
speed and
happen.
slick road conditions.
well, I mean, the whole,
Happened this
you
morning.
can't even see the
It's like
structure of the
when-
building anymore.
I mean, obviously it's different from 9/11, but it's like I couldn't believe watching that fall.
Yeah.
Now I can't believe watching this fall.
I think when we all saw the first tower do it, we couldn't really, I don't think we processed
But I
what we
mean, to
saw.
see the
I mean, yeah, that's,
spire or spear come down, it's
Fox News, I'm Dale Walters.
Michiana's news channel, which likes to talk with Casey.
some stuff can be rebuilt, but who knows?
As Notre Dame in Paris is burning.
The Paris mayor
Sure.
describing
Yeah, what's your first
terrible
name?
fire. Flames have burst through the
I'm
cathedral's
sorry, can you
roof,
say that again
and
real
the
loud?
spire has collapsed. Huge clouds of thick smoke have been
Rodney?
blowing into the sky.
Fox's Simon Owen reporting.
Oh, Raleigh,
thousands
Raleigh,
gathered
got
to
it.
watch a storm
Okay,
fire
hang on the line, buddy.
heard collapsing. The Mueller report, at least the redacted version, will be released on Thursday.
Members of Congress have been calling for a full unredacted report. Last week, Barr testified he would be willing to work with congressional committees to get them additional sensitive information once the public report is out. In Washington,
Look how
Rachel
tall those
Sutherland,
flames still are,
Fox
though.
News.
I know.
Holy crap.
Pleading not guilty to charges, she paid
It's like,
$500,000.
it's not slowing down at all.
If you want to promote, I have a story and a bunch of pictures on 95.3.
Okay, will do.
Weather served up by the prime table. It's Easter week.
And these, I don't know if you guys are watching it or not, but I mean, the flames are just, they're not slowing down at all.
With a special menu including roast leg of
They're
lamb.
just continuously being fed fuel.
Now, home comfort experts, your air conditioning professionals, first warning for
It was interesting that I saw that bit about dropping water, because I was at a point where, like, hey, can they just take a helicopter, just dump a bunch of water on that thing or something?
But most will stay dry, and then for Tuesday, warming up to 60.
Just to try and save a landmark?
With mostly cloudy skies and a chance for showers.
Why don't more people listen to you, Casey?
I don't know. It's aggravating as hell, though.
News powered by Polymax.
Every time, like weeks later, there's a story that comes out and it was something that we had already discussed, because we talk about this stuff all the time. It's like, why won't they contact me? Like Brian Kilmeade, I told him 2 years ago to pay attention to this. He goes, "Are you sure?" Because we're at dinner, and I said, "I'm telling you, watch this guy." And then the moment Pete announced, I sent him a text. I said, "I told you," and he's not had me on. Like, what the hell? So Lars and Todd Starnes are the only national people that have had me on.
Visit Tuesdays through Saturdays to taste what it means to make American food great again.
I can guarantee you, Tony Katz, who doesn't know anything about Pete, has had more phone calls about Pete than I have.
Some of our most popular offers.
And I had to brief him about him
Every live show at Amish
like
Bakers.
8 months ago.
50% off certificates to Smith's Downtown and $25 off Chippewa Bowls.
He said he left you a message, but
Yeah, months ago. I called him back. You never called me back.
All right.
More at mydealsmichiana.com. That's mydealsmichiana.com.
If he ever brings it up again, I'll make sure that I let him know that.
Farm market report, and the corn and bean markets worked higher on support from further planting delays and cold and
Oh, I'm sure, Speed. I wouldn't be surprised. And that's just, I think that's where stymie is coming from. What if one of the workers happened to be of that ideology? So, I mean, we don't know. It's one of those things that we got to look for. We'll see once they do the investigation.
3 3/4, and Novi 9.31. That was up 3 1/4. A nickel down on the May wheat, 4.59 1/2. July 4.63 1/4, a nickel and a quarter lower. And in livestock,
what about it, Jordan?
Mostly higher. The June live cattle just 2 cents up though at 121.47. All lean hog contracts up except June down 20 cents at 98.30. I'm Andy Eubank. Who's your ag today? Indiana's Farm Network.
The Fox Business Report brought to you by Modern Kitchen, creating your dream living spaces so you can redesign, remodel, and relax. Modern Kitchen on McKinley, east of Ash Road in Elkhart.
Like I said before, they've worked very hard at teaching Pete to filibuster, which is a skill that you need to have if you're going to go into national politics. He's much better at it than he used to be, but we've still never seen him in a fight. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles himself as we get to the debate phase. If he gets there, and if he handles himself well, he handles himself well. But we haven't seen that yet, so we don't know.
As its larger competitor, that being Uber, gets in gear to make its Wall Street debut. And Tiger's big win at the Masters, giving Nike investors a lot to cheer about. Nike shares are up around 0.5% today. Apex Marketing says that
Oh, everybody's asking about Rhonda. I saw that on Discord. Everybody thinks that our Rhonda was on Rush today. Rhonda from South Bend or whatever was on Rush today.
From the Fox Business Network, I'm Hillary Barsky.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation.
Yeah, that could be too, William. That could be too.
Hey guys, good news.
I mean, I'll wait for the investigation, but I totally know why people think that, especially given the area that it's in.
And now get your first month supply for just $5 at 4hims.com/Chris. Hims connects you with real doctors online who can prescribe the medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your
Well,
door.
you're going to see a lot of comparisons to Pete with Obama because Obama's taken him under his wing. So a lot of the Chicago Democrat elite have been tutoring Pete for some time now.
Look at one or two aspects of your financial situation.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see him look and operate very similar to Obama. Wouldn't be surprised at all.
Financial picture. That's the only way to create a comprehensive plan that works uniquely for you. Call 866-CREATE.
Somebody is texting me and asking if I'm still on Discord.
Investment strategies recommended by Creative Planning are not assured of earning a profit or avoiding a loss in declining markets.
And now, a quick comparison from Grasshopper. When a client calls, what do you want them to hear? Your personal voicemail?
Hey, you've reached Greg's cell phone. I'm away right now, obviously. Leave a message and maybe I'll get back to you.
Or something a little more buttoned up, courtesy of Grasshopper.
Thanks for calling Green Landscaping. To make an appointment, dial 1. For billing, dial 2. To speak with Greg Smith,
Did I see your earlier comment?
Put your best
No, I
voice
didn't.
forward with Grasshopper, the virtual phone system for small business.
Comments just back from
Try
doing
it
the
free
laundry. Is
at
Paris burning? No,
grasshopper.com.
just the cathedral in Notre Dame.
Your vehicle is one of your biggest
In Paris, but
Paris.
not the whole. I know we have to do that clarification now. Not all of Paris is burning. No, just the cathedral at Notre Dame in Paris is
Why not
burning.
make the outside look just as flawless? Parkwood Auto Spa on Edison Road in Mishawaka and Ireland.
Here, let me get logged into Restream here so I can see comments a little bit better.
They're also home of the buy 5 get 3 free. For every 5 washes you buy, you'll receive 3 free. So whether
No, ProPublica did not go after South Bend for the tapes like they did Elkhart, which is why I was commenting that it was so interesting that the South Bend Tribune seemed so invested in that story when there were stories in South Bend that they could apply. Now, they covered it, don't get me wrong. I mean, South Bend Tribune did. But there wasn't a huge investigative effort like what we saw with the police situation in Elkhart. So that's why I thought it was a little interesting.
We went to dinner afterward with Tommy Buck and Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of good stories from Tommy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Buck told me some good ones too.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure she's got more.
Not my stories to tell, but they
Yep.
were hair raising.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Before we dive back into this and take more phone calls, if you go to 953mnc.com, we've got video of the spire at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Again, we have to make that distinction here. We keep catching ourselves because then people pop on the live stream and go, what, Notre Dame's on fire? And it's no, in Paris, the cathedral at Notre Dame in Paris is burning down right now. The spire collapsed earlier. The roof is completely gone. The structure is completely different than it was, well, before the fire. And the spokesman for the cathedral doesn't think that there's going to be anything left. So we don't know, all right? We know that the wood frame is likely going to be lost. They're fighting as best as they can, but we don't have all of the details yet. But the flames are still very, very active. They are still very hot, and they are still very tall. It looks like it's just being fed more fuel. It just doesn't appear to be slowing down. So if you go to 953mnc.com, we've got video, we've got pictures, we've got the story up there on the website. If you'd like to go ahead and take a look at it. It's awful, but the positive news is that so far there's no casualties. We don't have any reports of injuries yet, although firefighters are still fighting the blaze, so there's always a possibility of something going wrong. We certainly hope that that is not the case. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. So yesterday, the second biggest event in Michiana happened where Pete Buttigieg announced that he is officially running for president. The first biggest event was obviously happening in Elkhart. We'll get to that in the 4 o'clock hour. Raleigh, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
I like that Mayor Buttigieg. I was fortunate. I worked downtown, like at the Chase building.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to observe a lot of the smart streets and this and that. But honestly, if he becomes president with his lifestyle, which I'm not saying is bad, how is these Muslim countries going to treat it?
You know, that was a question that came up. I think came up last week. Somebody had brought that point up, and I don't envision it being a huge issue. I assume he's going to probably send a surrogate. Sometimes there was questions about Hillary Clinton being the Secretary of State, being a woman, and dealing with Muslim countries, and she did. And then times where it would be uncomfortable or unlikely to happen, a surrogate was sent. That sort of thing. So I'm not necessarily sure that it would have a huge impact on international relations. Obviously, there'll be personal issues with some of those countries,
right.
but I think we're the U.S. and we can project however we want.
I do too. I think he'd probably be pretty decent, but over there it's still punishable by death. How can we have a monologue with that?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I get that. I don't think he's going to win any friends with Iran. I really don't. But at the same time, will he have issues with our allies and that sort of stuff? Will the other things besides his lifestyle, which will impact them much more, obviously, than a personal animus, will that, reign supreme? I would assume that it would. But you never know. I mean, who knows who's going to be in power over in those countries and things like that as well. I mean, if somebody of an ISIS-like mindset is over there, then obviously not.
Right.
But, you know, again, another aspect of it is, do we really care what they think at that point? And that's a fair question to ask, too. So.
Well, it'd be interesting. I'd like to see what he could do. So
it'll be interesting. Time. Yeah, it'll be interesting either way. All right, man. Appreciate the call. Thank you much.
All right. Bye.
All right. 574-25-95-95-3. That's 2595-953. And I brought this up too in my thing over the weekend. People keep asking me, he's like, why do you keep like giving him advice on how to do things and telling him what he's doing wrong? I was like, because if Pete Buttigieg is the nominee, it's good for me. It's good for my career. There's one opposing media figure in his city. That's it. Everybody else is either pro Pete or friendly to him. There's one person here, and that's me. So if he's the nominee, then it could be good for my career. Who knows? Tom, welcome to the program.
Hello.
What's up?
I was thinking about Mayor Pete and how he said he brought the South Bend area back.
Yeah.
The trouble is he isn't old enough to remember what it was when it was. That, you know, when they lost the manufacturing, they more or less took the engine out of the bus and nothing has really replaced it.
Correct.
And, you know, there used to be the days when I went down with Mom to shop and stuff, and there were so many people on the sidewalks and stuff downtown that you'd have to walk in the street because the sidewalks were full.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I remember how it was, and although he's done a lot,
I think if you're going to give, I think the best that you could give Pete is that he worked really well with an opportunity that the Republican governor gave him to have money for matching funds.
Right.
And he stopped the bleeding. Okay.
Right.
But there's been no comeback or anything like that. Like South Bend is not what you would call a thriving municipality. Maybe there isn't a mass exodus away. Now, maybe part of that is his ability to take what the governor had offered and find those investors for downtown. Maybe a part of it is that the economy is 1,000,000 times better than it was when he took over. It could be a combination of all of those things. You know, there's a whole host of things that could play into this. But this Cinderella story of, oh, everything was burning and on fire and now everything is amazing and we're this metropolis, that's just not the case. And so when I see it, I get frustrated, and I know that a lot of other people get frustrated, and I'm not even, you know, long-term tied to the area. It's just I see what I've seen since I've been here. And we just had the South Bend Common Council have to pass a bunch of tax breaks to keep big companies in town who said they were thinking about moving.
Right.
So at that point, I'm looking at this and I'm going, all right, you gave them $132,000 tax cut per job. Those people are making $132,000. That's a heck of a tax cut. And there's a big chunk of me that is looking at this and going, boy, it sure seems like the Common Council went out on a limb to save 62 jobs. Or did they go out on a limb to save the mayor who's running for president? Because it would look really bad if he announced that and he was running on a revitalized South Bend and then a bunch of big companies moved out of town.
Right.
That would look really bad. So, you know, and again, it wouldn't just be about his campaign. It would look bad overall because then all the negative press would be about how South Bend isn't thriving, which will, you know, stem the tide of anybody who might be looking at South Bend. So it's, you know, it's not been an honest portrayal of how things are. I don't think that South Bend is the worst place in the world. I've told people that before, but I also don't think it's this amazing shining city as others have portrayed it either.
No, some of the areas around it are doing better.
And like I said, you know, when I ask anybody, I said, name a municipality around in Michiana that has run worse, and I don't have anybody who really names anything.
No.
So, you know, and look, this whole region has benefited from the economy. The whole region has, and South Bend's a part of that. No doubt about it. All right. Hey, man, I got to run, but I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
You bet. Take care. All right, we got more phone calls coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3,
Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles.
Just got a message.
Meet regularly for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Just call the Prime Table to reserve tables for your next gathering.
Oh boy. Inappropriate joke.
A few morning clouds, but that will clear out, getting away.
What's up, Fly?
Today, with temperatures warming up to 50 degrees, winds a little bit calmer, only right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight we'll hold on to a little bit more cloud cover though. Temperatures dropping down near 38 degrees. And for Tuesday, 67 degrees for the daytime high, mostly cloudy skies. We'll see a chance
So did we establish that it was our Rhonda on Rush today, or no?
Skies again, with temperatures even warming up near 70 degrees. A chance for a few showers for northern counties.
What's up, buddy?
Pretty limited. The most likelihood of seeing showers and even thunderstorms will come our way on Thursday with the high of 68. And the ABC 7 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Kennedy.
It was. Nice. Nice job.
Personnel right now at the border. It's really an onslaught.
You know, they say this is a public investigation, but it sounds like
Good Lord.
professional orchestration. I hope we can avoid
It looks like almost the whole building's gone.
problematic because the president can get
Yeah,
all the money
but
he
I mean
needs.
the card number's still there.
Not even controversial.
Like it's in the songs category.
Apparently, B100 played a Christmas song today.
But
Hi,
Yeah.
my name is Tim O'Hara. I've been
It's
on
not even
the
July
board for
yet.
28 years. I consider myself a family man, and I'm blessed to say I have a large family outside of work and a large family at work. Family is one of the things that makes Lock Monday Motors a special place. We're family owned and operated for 4 generations. We're Elkhart.
Oh, you were not on Rush. Okay. So we established that it was not you. Got it. Got it.
We're also Elkhart's #1 pre-owned dealer.
Well, shame on you for not owning the Rondas in the area.
And SUVs. We aren't the best simply because we're the biggest or because we have the best prices. Those things are certainly true, but we are the best because of the way we treat people. We love our customers and they mean the world to us. Treating customers right, proudly serving others with integrity is how I've supported my family for over 3 decades.
Okay.
Visit me at 920 North Nappanee Street, Elkhart, and shop my inventory online.
Alex, I'm reading your response from Rick on Twitter.
I've been with Lock Monday for 28 years. Lock Monday Motors, a tradition since 1954.
That's funny.
The days are longer. The sun is poking through the clouds, and before you know it, spring will arrive in explosive color.
Better.
Everything comes to life. Bright greenhouses and Niles is getting ready for the season. Proven Winners Garden Center with over 65,000 square feet of beautiful plants, hanging plant baskets, shrubs, bedding plants, trees, and much more. All in rich colors that almost seem magical. Plants so healthy.
Might have gotten a free mug. Never know.
Always look like the sun shining on it. Bright greenhouses is where beautiful gardens begin, and is a certified Proven Winners grower.
It's so loud.
Greenhouses.com and start planning your garden. You'll find plants, succulents, shrubs, fruit trees, and ornamental trees. Bright Greenhouses in Niles, where your beautiful gardens begin. 2610 Redbud Trail, a quick trip from South Bend, Mishawaka, Elkhart, and Granger.
No, nobody bothered to ask him what the platform is. He doesn't have one yet.
The best day of your week is waiting for you at Four Winds Field with your South Bend Cubs.
John says PBS needs to be removed from free TV.
Okay, all right. But yeah, I don't know what to do.
Not a big fan of public broadcasting. They have some programs that I think are really cool, but no reason for me to fund them.
Okay, yeah, you might want to find out because this totally played at 1:03 p.m.
$2 Tuesday, presented by Metro by T-Mobile. And Wednesday, the first
It was a 3.5 minute spot walk, and the song runs 3 minutes 34 seconds. So it fit perfectly.
Take a swing at the First Source Bank Performance Center. Enjoy the view from the United Federal Credit Union rooftop, or let the kids bounce and play at the Toyota Fun Zone.
All right,
Your
man.
favorite place for food and family entertainment is back. The South Bend Cubs at Four Winds Field, where everyone comes to play.
Lots of investment firms talk about customizing a portfolio to
What
your
did Big
needs,
Bird ever
but
do
they
to
may
me?
only look at 1 or 2
Didn't
aspects
Big
of your
Bird do like a
financial
Pee-wee
situation.
special or something?
Creative planning is different. Our financial planning
Back in the day.
considers your entire financial picture. That's the only way to create a comprehensive plan that
Appreciate
works
this news
uniquely
channel, which
for you.
likes to talk to Casey.
Call 866-CREATIVE.
Did they lose their subsidies? No.
creativeplanning.com to learn more.
proposal to do it, but Congress squashed it.
Yeah.
And now, a quick comparison from Grasshopper.
Okay.
When
Hey,
a
thank
client
you. We'll
calls,
update
what do you
everybody.
want them to hear? Your personal voicemail?
Okay,
You
bye-bye.
reached Greg's cell phone.
Crash on Middlebury Goshen's not
Obviously.
too
Cool.
Leave a message and maybe I'll get back to you.
Or something a little more buttoned up, courtesy of Grasshopper.
Thanks for calling Green Landscaping. To make an appointment, dial 1. For billing, dial 2. To speak
As is
with Greg
AARP.
Smith, dial
There's no contest. Put your best voice forward with Grasshopper, the virtual phone system for small business. Try it free at grasshopper.com.
We're your home for the Sean Hannity Show. Weeknights 6 till 9, exclusively on News Talk.
The Follow That Bird movie. Yeah. There's a couple of those Big Bird movies that are pretty bad when I was a kid. All right, here we go. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Do have an update for you. That crash at the intersection of Middlebury and Goshen that was blocking traffic over there has been cleared up. Listener just called and let us know that. We appreciate the update. And if you want to take a look at the pictures and video of what is happening at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, it is burning down right now. We have that story up at 953mnc.com with videos and pictures. It's bad. And I said the spokesperson for the cathedral doesn't expect any of the wood structure to survive and believes it will end up being a total loss. So we don't know. They're fighting hard, but the flames still appear to be... it actually looks like it is better now than it was about 15 or 20 minutes ago, but it was still pretty bad, and the flames are really high. So hopefully they will get it under control, and hopefully it will not be as big of a loss as everybody is thinking about, and they can rebuild. UNESCO's already issued a statement that they are willing to come in and help restore and rebuild it, but only we have to wait till everything's done until we figure out exactly what can and can't be done with it. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Again, taking calls on Pete Buttigieg's announcement. And, of course, he announces, and boom, the story all of a sudden ends up in national headlines about the police tapes, as a lot of people have never heard of the police tapes before. Greg, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, Casey. How are you today?
I'm well. What's up?
Hey, quick question for you.
Yeah.
Some clarification. They announced this morning after Buttigieg's his thing that he's an Afghan war veteran. When you go to the service and you're an officer, and I know you're not a sniper or anything, are you considered a war veteran? Do you know that?
You're considered a veteran. He was deployed in. Well, okay. So the in theater bit is the thing. There's some questions about where he actually was, and
correct.
So people who are over there said he wasn't in Afghanistan. He was in Manas, which was in Kazakhstan. He was never in any danger or anything like that, nor should he be in any danger with the job that he had. Yet he tweets that he put himself in harm's way, which is an odd thing for a veteran to tweet.
I'm going with that.
Yeah, so there's some people that were over there that I've known for some time who went over with him, but they weren't stationed with him. They just went over on the same ride, and they're all convinced that he was never there. Now perhaps he was stationed at Manas, and perhaps he made his way into Afghanistan on missions and stuff. Okay, that's entirely possible. We don't know, but there are questions about his military service over there, and it's not that people are saying that he didn't serve honorably. It's that people are wondering if he has inflated his military record. I would agree. That's the question.
That's what I'm understanding.
Yeah. And there's
a nephew that was a. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, there's a lot of people over there, too, that say, people in his position were never issued an M4, so why is he posing with an M4?
Yeah, that's my question. I have a nephew that was a sniper that's actually discharged 100% and got injured in Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. I don't know that Buttigieg could run on the ticket that he's a war veteran. To me, he's nothing.
Yeah, he's never served combat. He's never been in a firefight. He's never been in any danger or anything like that. When the Politico wrote that article several months back and kind of played it up like maybe he had PTSD or something, it was a very interesting article to read for me. And like I said, I've got no issues with the type of military service that he had. My question is based on people who are there who think that he is inflating what he actually did. That becomes the question there. Now, if he is inflating what he did over there, what does that say about his character as somebody who's running for president of the United States? And can he be honest with you throughout the campaign? That's the issue. Yeah. All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. I appreciate it too. Thank you much. Now, I want to make it perfectly. I want to make it perfectly clear, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't have
all of the facts on that. Okay, so there's just a lot of people who have experience over there going, he was in Manas, he was in Kazakhstan, he was never in any danger. I mean, it's a green zone. He's protected by the best of the best. It's a place that you would rotate out and go on R&R and vacation and that sort of thing. So it's, again, I don't know if any of that is accurate. Okay, it's just stuff that has come up to me. One of the things that I had from people who were over there repeatedly, they would come up and they were like, I was over there. He was in Manas. He wasn't in Afghanistan. And you need to ask him about that. All right. Well, I mean, I've tweeted to him about it. He's never answered. So at some point in time, I expect it to be a story because it has been brewing. All right. So I would expect it to be a story. I actually alluded to that on Todd Starnes' program today. I said, don't be surprised if you start hearing things about his military service. And those are going to be those questions. If he can answer them, great. We'll put it to bed. If he can't answer them and he pulls a John Kerry, he's going to have this thing following him around his entire campaign and the rest of his political career. And that's something that he shouldn't want to have happen, especially if he's not telling a lie or inflating his service over there. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Of course, you can watch the live stream at going to youtube.com/Casey the Host or twitch.tv/Casey the Host. And you can also go to the 95.3 MNC website. We've got video, we've got pictures, we've got the article up there on what is happening with the burning of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, France. 95.3MNC.com.
WTRC-FM and HD1. Niles,
Casey may or may not play this.
I will, but I can play it. I can play it from my end too.
Your top stories right now.
It's hard to think.
History lost to flames. I'm Rich Edison, Fox News.
I was gonna probably do that in the 5 o'clock hour.
All but destroyed by a massive fire in Paris. President Trump commenting on the
that whole building is different.
Jeez. The 12th century building appears to be gutted from the flames.
There's no word on a cause. The cathedral had been in the midst of renovations. Police say there have been no reports of deaths. Notre Dame is an iconic French landmark and has a long history.
Take care, Roland.
Began
Thanks for coming out over the weekend too, by the way.
Is that better, Casey?
Thank you.
Yeah. Michiana's news channel.
He designed the smart streets in Afghanistan. Oh my God.
We are moving on from that topic now.
We'll bring it up again at 5:30.
We'll probably bring it up again about 5:30 later today. But we are discontinuing the topic for now.
That's a good question. I don't know if you can transport a dog in a bed.
I don't know. I don't even know if Casey knows. I'm sure he has something queued up, but I don't think he knows right off the top of his head.
Sanctuary cities calling the proposal bizarre and unlawful. In a letter to the acting
chief
of staff and the acting secretary of Homeland Security, the head of the Judiciary, Oversight, and Homeland Security.
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
Communications on the proposed policy. The demand for
yes, it is.
President Trump embraces
What?
the idea of busing
I got an error on YouTube. Hold up. Let me reload that bad boy.
Democrats should applaud the proposal. Rich?
John,
You guys still getting me on YouTube?
U.S. stock index is lower. The Dow
road is closed where?
Points closed at 26,384. The S&P down.
There we go. All right, it's back.
I will
YouTube's good now.
get that to our news director and try to get that out there.
Fox News.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
This is Michiana's Breaking
Right.
News and Weather Station. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and 95.3MNC.com.
All right.
Hey, man.
I will get that out there.
All right. Good deal. Yeah, Alex, I was looking at that guy on Twitter. He's like, oh, he seems sore. He railed off a bunch of facts. No, I just seem sore. Okay, but those are facts. I mean, everything Benjamin Studebaker said in his article was true, so that was interesting. The cheese is old and moldy.
Curtis Hill filed court documents Monday opposing the request by an abortion provider to open the clinic without a license. In March, the Texas-based Lions sought a
The stream died 10 minutes. Oh, I had to refresh it. See, it was dead on my end, so I just refreshed it. But
hey, Joe, tomorrow could you stick around after the show and do some music and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Documentation about the safety record.
I will have some stuff ready for you.
Oh. The proposed South Bend clinic specifically would provide chemical abortions.
That's 95.3 MNC's Carl Stutzman reporting. And a former Notre Dame men's basketball coach has passed away.
Wait, who went crickets? What?
From 1991 to 1999, and coached his son Matt during the last 2 years.
Oh, so you sent him the Studebaker Museum website?
Was the roof actually leaking? Was that a lie?
No, it was.
No, it was no. It's been leaking, and that was
leaking on one of the speakers. He was talking, and like you could see
leaks. Which I don't know. It wasn't the best move in the world. They should have planned a little bit better. I don't know if the College Football Hall of Fame building had the capacity to field that many people. I'm not sure a wet, leaky building in a rainstorm is.
Burp says Happy Monday, and you like her bike ride.
Thank you. Yeah, getting a lot of comments on the bike ride video. That's good. Yeah, I get why they would pick a Studebaker building for that, but I don't know. It seems like it should have been planned out a little bit better. But it is what it is. You know?
Well, who knew what was going to rain?
Michigan's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
It's April.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Right?
It didn't just rain; it snowed.
Yes, right. I did have ice on my windshield yesterday at one point.
We had some friends over at the homeless mansion, and we were looking out there and like, oh my god, it's snow.
It might come back up at 5:30. Or it might not. It's really up to Casey. But for the moment, we are discontinuing that topic.
Made to order American classics like
All right.
bluegill,
Thank you.
hand-cut Chairman's Reserve steaks, slow-smoked ribs, double-baked double cheeseburgers, wings, and
Oh wait, what do we got going on here? What's Rhonda talking about? Hold on a second. I lost track of something in the comments here. Hold on.
Many churches being on fire in the COVID now.
Oh.
What? I don't know if she
No, because I mean, Rhonda had mentioned that her husband was never in combat, but he's a veteran. I think the question was whether he's a war veteran. You know, but you get medals and ribbons for being in theater, and I'm sure that he has those. You know, he's I wouldn't call him a combat veteran because he didn't catch fire, but war veteran, yeah, probably. You know, he's certainly a veteran. I'm a veteran. I didn't see combat, but I'm a veteran.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring is prime.
Brian says the president will win re-election easy when you get back to Congress. I've got some interesting bits about the president's war chest coming up a little bit later.
The low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a rate shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down,
I don't know if you're talking to me, Dean, about Muhammad.
Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9
I don't know who he supports, but what Benjamin Studebaker said in that article was accurate. The statistics were the same ones that I have been giving you. So, you know, the things that he wrote in there were accurate. I don't know who he supports. I don't know who he votes for. But what he said was accurate.
We might bring it up again in the 5:30 at 5:30, but for the moment we just right.
Yeah, Shabazz is with IBC in Indy.
All right.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right. I want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range. You can go to New Carlisle, of course, and you can shoot. You can get indoors. So if somebody happens to be making an announcement that they're running for president and a snowstorm breaks out, you can be indoors and enjoying 50% off range time at Second Amendment Arms and Range. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information about that. The cathedral at Notre Dame in Paris, France continues to burn, although it looks like it is finally under control. I know that the fire people not too long ago were saying that they weren't sure they were going to be able to get control of it. Seriously, folks, like 20, 25 minutes ago, this thing was still raging. It seems to be more calm now. The fire is not as hot as it was. You can tell by the color, and the flames are not nearly as large. So I think they finally have it contained. Obviously, it's still going to continue to burn and smolder, but the building is, without a doubt, changed. So we have that story at 953mnc.com, including video and pictures. So we'll continue to update you on this. All right, so if you go to elkharttruth.com, you'll have their top story, then their featured stories, and then under news, I am the top thing on there. Conservatives gather for Casey does Elkhart. They didn't put my tagline in there, Joe. I'm going to do you so hard. They didn't put that in there, and I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't. I don't know why they didn't do that. That's unfortunate, but because I thought it was a pretty good tagline. I mean, it was fun. It was interesting. Now, before I kind of dive into this, okay, I'm going to read the article. Okay, so I'm going to get into the article because the article mostly fair. By the way, I actually want to thank the Elkhart Truth for sending somebody out there, because everybody else in South Bend and in Michiana just ignores everything that I do. They will not show up. They won't do it. Some of them run around, spread little lies about me and things like that on social media and other places, but they usually will not address anything that I do. All right, even charitable stuff. But the Elkhart Truth sent somebody out there, and I believe that they deserve some kudos for doing that, because they didn't have to. They printed the announcement in the paper. They also came out. They had somebody there. And they even went so far as to not use the event graphic, Joe. They went to the MNC website and pulled the zit photo off of the MNC website and put it in their newspaper instead of using the Photoshop retouched non-zit photo that was used in the event graphic. So I appreciate that little slight as well. All right. So here it is in the, you know what? I guess I can't read the entire thing. What the heck?
Oh, right.
Did they paywall this thing? It wasn't paywalled this morning. Okay, there's a reason I'm clearly on the top of this page, because apparently I'm drawing them more traffic. So I have to log in. Okay, do I even have an account with the Elkhart Truth? Hold on a second. This was not paywalled earlier. Yeah, we're supposed to. Okay, hold on. Some stuff pre-populated. Maybe I have a thing. All right, I have an account there, so I can read it to you. That was not paywalled earlier. Okay, that was not paywalled earlier. Was it?
When I got on it, because I saw it on your Facebook page.
I posted it 2 hours after it was published.
2 more free reads left.
Oh, man, really? That was funny. Okay, all right. Local conservatives gathered Sunday afternoon at Five Star Dive Bar on Elkhart's Main Street to hear from 95.3 MNC radio host Casey Hendrickson at a 2-hour event labeled Casey Does Elkhart. By the way, ended up being 2.5 hours. So we went long. Yeah. See, told you I was going to do you so hard. Hendrickson said that he was disappointed that apparently only people on the political right showed up at the event. I was. I'm a little surprised by that. This is a quote of me. I'm a little surprised by that because we sent out the invites to Democratic elected officials as well as candidates, and many of them told us that they were going to attend. That is true. Several. We were expecting up to 4. They didn't show. I don't know where they went. I mean, we were talking with one of the mayoral candidates, their team, I think the day before, trying to figure out, because they thought it was going to be like a big interview thing, and we were like, no, it's not really that, but I was going to give an opportunity for everybody to address the crowd and for people to ask them questions and that sort of thing. But nobody showed. When he does similar events in Mishawaka, many Democratic council members show up and talk, according to Hendrickson. This is all true, by the way. We've had Democrats who are candidates, and we have had Democratic members of the city council in Mishawaka all attend, pass the mic at Monterey, and Joe can attest to that. And we've had several of them, and they've always been treated fairly, and they've been treated with respect. I did a full interview with one of them who's running for election. So it's, that's the thing. It's like in Mishawaka, what is it about the Democrats in Mishawaka? I mean, are they a different breed of Democrat that they're just willing to engage, or I don't know. But the Democrats in Mishawaka never have a problem coming out to my events and promoting who they are, and they're always treated respectfully and nicely. I've never jumped down anybody's throat or anything like that. Neither has anybody in the audience. It's always been a very respectful exchange. I was hoping for that same thing to happen in Elkhart. It didn't, because they didn't show up. He said that he hopes that there will be more events like this one in Elkhart. There will be, by the way, that's been confirmed. And that Democrats will begin attending, which I do absolutely hope for. You should all know, by the way, that this was not an MNC station event. This was something that was done on the side, which allowed me to drink on stage, which I did. For some strange reason, the liberals and Democrats avoid engaging with me, and I don't know why, he said. Now, that was not said in the interview with the reporter from the Elkhart Truth, which he came up to me afterwards when people come up and shaking their hands and things like that. That was said specifically about certain people on social media, okay? And it's true. And I've commented about this quite a bit. Very few people will actually engage with me on social media. I've got a couple on Facebook. I've got like 2 on Twitter. Most of the time, people kind of avoid me. And I've always thought it was a little strange that they would engage somebody like Ben Shapiro, but they wouldn't engage me. But it's weird. And I mean, I know the real reason. They're hoping to use his traffic so they can get famous. I know that. He said that the reason people from the left didn't show up could have been that they were in South Bend. This was actually brought up by an audience member. And I said, oh, yeah, that's a good point. Because we started our event right after Mayor Buttigieg was announcing that he was running for president. And I said, where the heck are all the people who told us we were going to show? And I looked at Angie, too. I'm like, because you sent out all the letters and everything. I saw them. And she said, yeah, they told us they were going to be here. And then somebody says, well, they're down in South Bend for Mayor Pete. I'm like, oh, okay. So that was actually an audience suggestion, but I did run with it. As South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg was announcing his run for president at the same time as the 5-star dive bar event. And yet we still packed the house. Place was at capacity. Just saying. So I am quoted again as saying, is Buttigieg running for president more important than the kids of Elkhart? I don't think so. I did say that, and that is a darn good line, because we were there in part to talk about the Elkhart Community Schools referendum. And since some of the people who were telling us they were going to be there were people who were in favor of the referendum, I would have assumed that they would have wanted to come there and plead their case. They didn't. They chose not to. I don't know why, okay, but they chose not to. And as we were talking about the referendum, specifically in that portion of the program, I was asking, I was like, is Mayor Pete running for president more important than the kids of Elkhart? And the audience there said no. Maybe other people feel differently. I'm not sure. I'll continue this. And then I'm going to get to the one issue I really have with the article, because they claimed I did something I didn't do. And I've got to defend my people here. So we've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Get breaking news text alerts direct to your smart.
What's that?
No, I wanted to tweet Mayor Pete's running for president. And other things that we already knew. Avengers comes out on the 26th.
Like, I got up on the stage and say, all right, Mayor Pete's made it official. Cool. We started the event.
We knew what he was going to do. Like, it wasn't.
Well, Paula was watching the Masters, so at least Paula got to witness history. Okay, so there's at least that.
I think I was awake during Masters.
I mean,
I don't remember if I was watching it.
At least Paula saw history, so there's that. Yeah, I mean, I think Angie, there was one, maybe 2 booths that didn't have somebody in on the right-hand side, but that place was packed. We packed it up, so Jason was very happy.
But for now, Easter looking good and dry with temperatures in the upper 60s. From the ABC 57 first warning.
No, I just saw pictures of Pete's rally, and it looked pretty packed too.
Oh yeah, he had a lot of people there, without a doubt.
It looked really hot. Or I couldn't tell if it was wet from the leaking roof or if he was sweaty.
There, and he might have been wet, but I don't have any info. Do any of you have any info on the protest that the GOP was supposed to be doing? I haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah.
Nothing. So.
Didn't somebody bet like $86,000 or something on Tiger Woods? A bunch of money.
I don't know.
It was like a national. It was on the 5.
Hey, I mean, he had the weirdest slump
He did.
that I have ever seen, I think, in sports. And the only thing I can think of is I think he was not happy with himself as a human being. I think that, because that's when the affair and all that happened.
Right after all that.
You know, and he just fell apart. And he needed some time, I think, to get his head on right and to kind of heal spiritually, I think. And once that happened, boom, he started winning. Like, I remember when he had his first win coming back, I'm like, there you go. He kept sticking it out. I'm like, man, he's going to retire. But he stuck it out. Here he is, winning the Masters. Good for him.
Almost like it was going to be a Shaq story where he just lost gas at the end and retired.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people.
But you know what? Golf is better when Tiger Woods is playing good. Golf is never more popular than when Tiger Woods is playing good. It's just how it is. Exactly. Yep. Tennis, if Andre Agassi was in a slump, nobody watched tennis. If he was playing good, everybody wanted to watch tennis. Everybody. Doesn't mean he's the only good player. It was just the personality and the connection with the crowd was something that other people couldn't duplicate. So.
Which is why I think the Williams debacle, call it,
yeah,
got so much press coverage. It's because she's popular. She's good.
All I saw was a flash of dresses and clothes all
yep.
for the next month. Your mom is very excited.
She was just some
She just wants everything to be perfect. She's
or
getting ready
even
now.
like just slightly less popular than she is. I don't think we would have gotten much coverage.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. Yep, 85K bet on Tiger to collect $1.3 million. Damn. French official just quoted this, calling this the French 9/11, Speed says. And again, we do not know. We do not know if it was arson. However, it is Paris. There are workers that are there. It is possible. It's also possible that it was an accident. So we don't know. We don't know. Totally understand why people are thinking that, though.
But they may only look at one or two aspects of your financial situation. Creative planning is different. Our financial planning-led approach considers your entire financial picture.
850 years.
It was supposed to get tore down, and then the dude who wrote Hunchback of Notre Dame wrote it to try to spur popularity to keep it up. And that's exactly what happened.
And it worked.
And it worked.
It's an icon.
Movie, and it's a beautiful chapel, and it's just been around so long. It just needs
your personal voicemail
that up,
which is why they were doing the renovations.
Right.
Or something a little more buttoned up.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a totally different building. I mean, huge swaths of it are gone. So
it will be a huge cost, but it also
best voice forward with Grasshopper, the virtual phone system for small
smaller
business.
monument.
Try it free at grasshopper.com.
This is where it was, and everything is a bigger.
I wouldn't be surprised if they rebuild it completely. I mean, if that entire thing were to collapse, I wouldn't be surprised they rebuild it exactly like it was.
A special place where
it'll be in better condition.
Better condition, more modern materials. I'm sure that there's a lot of oil-based stuff that was in there, and that was what was fueling it. And well, somebody mentioned on the live stream, Daisy, I think, she came on and she says when they did the renovation, they took a bunch of stuff out, so maybe they didn't lose as much of the art as we think, which would be great because there's priceless art in there. Take care, Rhonda.
Notre Dame,
Notre Dame, North Napanee Street in Elkhart, or shop my inventory online.
That he said that about an hour ago. He was obviously very distraught. So.
Lock Money Motors, a tradition of carrying since 1954.
I can't imagine.
I mean, he was horrified. Exactly, Tracy. Hopefully.
It's just like
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. Why were you playing Radio is Dead? Was Creamer from Limp Bizkit.
That would be my fault. I clicked the wrong button.
Oh, okay.
I clicked
it's a great tune.
Music and not the our bumper selection.
It's all right. It's cool. I mean, they used to be in the bumper rotation.
True.
So I don't think it is right now, but it used to be. All right, so we're going back to the Elkhart Truth article about MWA. And let's see, we picked up with Hendrickson spent a substantial part of his time speaking about national issues, including the investigation that Special Counsel Robert Mueller recently concluded, which did not find that President Donald Trump or his campaign conspired with Russia to win the 2016 presidential election, according to Attorney General William Barr. Now, the event was supposed to be 2 hours. It went 2.5 hours. 1.5 hours were national cultural issues. Okay. The last hour was local question and answer, and almost all of the question and answer was local. So it was a pretty good balance considering. He also criticized journalists, including those in the 95.3 MNC newsroom, for being too left-leaning and ready to jump on anything negative about the president and Republicans. I never said that at all. Now, I did criticize journalists. In fact, I'm surprised I did by name 2 people locally. I am shocked that this person didn't put that in the article. So I did criticize journalists, and I gave examples of why those journalists should be criticized. But I never criticized the 95.3 MNC news team for being too left-leaning and jumping on anything negative about President Trump and Republicans. I never said that, not even remotely close. There was a point in time where the discussion happened, which I get a lot with liberals, where they hate MNC and they talk about us being state-run media. Basically, Trump controls us and that sort of thing. And I was highlighting that I think that's really funny considering some of the people that are sitting in our newsroom. And I mentioned that we have a pretty diverse newsroom, including some very left-wing individuals. That was it. That's all I was doing. Now, I made a broad point about all newsrooms everywhere with a tragedy. All right. And I've made this point on my show many times. I will continue to make the point. Why? Because it's true. When there's a tragedy, every newsroom in the country gets excited and a little giddy. Not because we want people to be hurt, not because we're bad human beings, but because that's our moment. We know that that's our moment, and we all go to work. So I made that point. I never said that the MNC newsroom was too left-leaning and ready to jump on anything negative about the president or Republicans. That never came out of my mouth. I never said it. I never inferred it at all. That's my one complaint about this article. My one complaint about the rest of it, I think is fair. That never happened. So naturally, I sent a message to my boss this morning, like, hey, just so you know, this line, that I didn't say that. Not even close. And I even sent it to a couple of people who were in attendance just to see if they heard me say it. And because, again, I was drinking, just in case I did. And they said, you never said anything remotely like that. Thank you very much. I didn't think I did. The local referendum that could lead to increased property taxes, not could, if it's passed, it will lead to increased property taxes in the Elkhart Community School District, appeared to be the hottest local topic. It was, without a doubt, with many in attendance asking questions and commenting on the issue. True. And I was really hoping for people who supported the referendum, who told us they would be there, to be there, because I really wanted both sides to present their case. I actually told everybody at the beginning, I said, we're going to get to it. I'm going to announce it. I'm going to go to the anti-referendum people, and then I will offer rebuttal for the pro-referendum people, and then I'll just let you know some of the data that I have found. And there were no pro-referendum people. None, which I found shocking because we were told that we were going to have 1 or 2 of them there, and they didn't show up. It was disappointing. I was hoping for an engagement on this because this is a huge issue in Elkhart. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. Jeff Peterman, chairman of the Best for Elkhart PAC, gave a short speech arguing that voters should turn down the proposal. Quote, "You don't care about the children. You don't care about the teachers," Peterman said, imitating what he said he hears over and over from people who support the proposal when they learn that he is against it. The folks who are not for this referendum are not the ones who don't care about the teachers and the kids. If anything, that's the school board and that's the administration who has prioritized so many other things for so long. The money that they have been wasting has been egregious, he said. He did say that stuff. Republican candidate for Elkhart mayor, former mayor Dave Miller, said that he doesn't want to see property ownership cost more in Elkhart. I don't want it to cost so much that people bail out on Elkhart. We want to attract good businesses. We want people to choose to live here, he said. The candidate also appeared to have some fun with the concurrent South Bend event. I'm running for mayor, he said. If I'm successful, I'd like to use it for a stepping stone to run for president. He did joke about that. It was pretty funny. City Council President Brian Dickerson, Republican at large, said that he asked Hendrickson to do the event in Elkhart. The whole point of the event, and just get people engaged in Elkhart, he said. I think that we've seen over a period of time that a lot of people are disengaged in local politics, and there also hasn't been a great opportunity for engagement between different political sides in a reasonable manner. This is true. It's one of the reasons that I was approached about Elkhart for this, and they said, look, you do this in Mishawaka, you do it in South Bend. It's like, can you do something like this in Elkhart? And I said, yes, because everybody forgets that you guys exist. And that's not fair, because Elkhart's not small. But they get swallowed up with all of the other stuff that happens around them. Dickerson, who occasionally is a guest on Hendrickson's radio show, said Hendrickson has shown an ability to moderate discussions between disagreeing groups. True. And that it was unfortunate that no Democrats showed up. Also feel the same way. I think that anytime that you support a side on an issue, you need to be willing to stand up and defend that, Dickerson said. I agree completely with him on that. I know I didn't hear him give this quote, by the way. So he was asking me today. He's like, did they quote me? I was like, yeah. And he's like, was it accurate? I said, I don't know. I wasn't there, dude. Go read it and find out. For Hendrickson, the most important message of the event was that people don't need to hate each other over political disagreements. So we can have disagreements and still be amicable and personal, he said. I meant to say personable, but I did say personal, and I immediately went, damn it, in my own head. But he quoted me directly. So thank you very much, Rasmus. So Rasmus Jorgensen was the one who wrote the article. Like I said, other than that one thing, I think he wrote a pretty good piece. I think it was accurate. That one thing I didn't say. And I was looking at it, I was like, how could he even get to that point? The only thing I could think of is he pulled it together from 4 other things that I was talking about. He was just kind of making a quote. But I didn't say any of that about my news team or anything else. But I did criticize the press. But I played montages of them doing things that were wrong. By the way, when I started off the referendum bit, I said, all right, who in this room opposes the Elkhart referendum? And of course, a bunch of hands went up. And I said, all right, how many of you with your hands up right now hates children in Elkhart and don't want them to have an education? Every hand went down. And that's how I started. I said, can we put this crap to bed now? Because that's what we're hearing. Okay. You don't like teachers. You don't like kids. You hate, you don't want them to be educated, which is it's preposterous. And that was a theme throughout the night, was that, look, we don't hate each other the way that the press portrays us hating each other. And I played montages showing people who actually do hate. It's like, but you see that all the time. That's not who your neighbors are. That's not who your coworkers are. And just like I say on the show, we can conduct ourselves in an appropriate manner. Mayor Pete and I disagree on almost everything. Have we ever thrown punches at each other? No. Have we ever screamed at each other? No. We've had some spirited tweets and things like that, but we've never had a non-mature conversation, because you can do that. It's okay if you do that. And that was really what I wanted to get out there. And unfortunately, the other side didn't really give us an opportunity to do that. Hopefully next time they will, because I think it would be good for the city. All right, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. MNC News Time is 4:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's.
Your chat's dead. It's dead? Yeah. My chat's dead? My cheesy chat's dead? My whole chat's dead? Dead? Question mark?
Yeah. You should see something from Happy right now.
What the hell?
Some things from like 10 minutes ago.
Man. All right, let's refresh this bad boy, see if we can get it going.
I told the chatters that I would tell you.
Okay, well, I just refreshed it, so. Test. All right, it's working now.
But the report found insufficient evidence to support charges against current or former employees
in part due to the agency's shoddy record keeping.
And a Muncie man is suing his parents for getting rid of his pornography collection. The
40-year-old I love this story. Oh my God.
Boxes of pornographic films and magazines were missing. His parents admit dumping the porn. The man is seeking triple financial damages of nearly $87,000. Chris DeMayo, Fox News.
Damn.
So he had it like delivered to his parents' house?
Oh my word.
To store it or what?
It's in Muncie, he said?
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta find this, man. I'm talking about this one. This is hysterical. The dude is suing his parents for getting rid of his porn collection. Oh, you know I'm talking about that. That's coming up. All right. I'm going to go grab something to drink. I'm going to be right back. So I'm going to play a commercial for you, okay? Buy some Stabby Pokies. I'll return, and then I will address something actually that Happy just said. Here we go. Okay. First of all, I want to address something that Happy just said. Because I think it's time, ladies and gentlemen, every time there's an article about Pete Buttigieg in national media or on some blog or something like that, I think the Horde needs to invade and tell everybody about me. Because they're all saying crap that we've been telling people for years, and they're acting like it's brand new.
My brother says congratulations on being the first person to predict that Pete Buttigieg was going to run for president.
Like years ago.
Right. So congratulations.
Yes.
You're a fantastic political-minded man.
I keep trying to tell people this crap. They don't listen to me. But, I don't know. I've not done a call to action with the Horde yet, and I think it's time. Because, like, the article today about the police tapes being a bombshell. It's not a damn bombshell. It's something that we've been talking about for years and isn't brand new information that we've been trying to get people to even cover for months, and nobody will. So it isn't a bombshell. It's just that people aren't paying attention to the only opposition Buttigieg voice in his own city. Mwah. Because everybody else in media here is pro or friendly with Mr. Pete. So y'all need to, you don't need to. I am politely requesting that you go forward and remind everybody that there is a guy who has been talking about this for years and predicted he was going to run for president before anybody else had any idea who the hell he was. Like Todd Starnes today was like, where did he come from? I'm like, gee, Todd, for years now I've been saying he was going to run for... Nobody's listening to me. You know who else I said was going to run for president? Mike Pence. He was until RFRA happened. But he's still sitting there in the White House, isn't he? Yup.
Probably at his Twitter.
Yeah, man.
Zoom.
What?
Or his YouTube.
Hey, whatever platform you see it on, tag me in it. If it's on Facebook, make sure it's the show's page and not my personal profile. But if you see it on Twitter, tag me on Twitter. If you see it on YouTube, tag my channel on YouTube. If you see it on Facebook, tag me on my Facebook page. So just do it. Just do it. Yeah, hell yeah, you can Media Matter some montages or something if you want. I don't care what y'all do with it. Just do it. It's... I might as well ride the wave.
Cool picture though.
It's a I mean, it is. It's sad, but you're right. It is a good picture. The video of the spire collapsing is dramatic. There you go, Alex. Thank you, Daisy. Appreciate it. I just think it's time that the Horde goes out and does its thing. You know what I mean? I have faith in all y'all's.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. Boy, it is amazing how often Indiana ends up in the news. Have you noticed that? Like, I never noticed that Indiana was in the news as much as it was until I moved here. And then it was like, wow, it's everywhere. We're always in the news. And here's the thing about Indiana being in the news. We're like the Florida of the Midwest. Have you noticed that? I mean, I love Indiana, folks. Don't get me wrong, but the crap that we get in the news for is Florida-esque. Right? With this, I was just listening to the news break, and I was like, what did I just hear on our local news break that we just had? And so I had to go find the story, and I figured I would share it with you, and I'll do that here in just a second. It's about a man, his stash, and his parents, and one lawsuit. All right, but first, you got to go to Second Amendment Arms and Range. You got to let them know that I sent you over there so you can get half off your range time, 10% off of all of your boom stickery accessories and ammo, and then you get listener-exclusive discounts on firearms. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. A Muncie man is suing his parents for getting rid of his porn collection. How old am I? I think I'm 39. Okay. He's 40 years old. This dude's 40 years old. Okay. An Indiana man is suing his parents for getting rid of his vast pornography collection. Vast. Which he estimates is worth... Okay, now, time out. Is it worth $29,000 retail or is it worth $29,000 now? Used. I'm at... Joe just got the willies. In more way than one.
Used lightly in mint condition.
Look, you buy your baseball cards, right? You get the baseball cards and you have that one card and you're like, okay, I'm going to put this in a Mylar sleeve, right? So it stays in a Mylar sleeve. Then you get the other card, this really, really nice card. You go get the 2-piece plastic that has the screws and you put that thing in a case and you never touch it again, right?
You handle it with gloves.
Is it preserved that way? Are we talking about like his accessible
okay. What is the media style?
Functional stash.
What type of media is it?
Do Blu-rays and DVDs, do they lose value when you open the plastic? Or do they retain value?
I would assume,
like an automobile. Yeah,
I would assume they would probably.
They lose 20% the first time you watched it. I'm just asking, folks. If this dude's got $29,000 worth of pornography. This might be an investment opportunity. All right, I'm just trying to figure things out, folks. I'm always about making the money.
It's not as weird saying used if it's like video.
I know there's some video involved, all right? Who's your pride? A 40-year-old man last week filed a lawsuit in federal court in Michigan. So he's an Indiana man, filed in Michigan. For those of you watching the live stream, we cover both Indiana and Michigan, where he moved in with his parents in 2016 following a divorce. I wonder why he was divorced.
Oh, no.
Not that I think pornography is bad or anything, but if you got a collection valued at $29,000, I'm willing to assume she was irked a little bit. He says that when he moved out 10 months later, they delivered his things to his new home in Muncie, Indiana, but that his 12 boxes of pornographic films and magazines were missing. So his parents sent all of his new stuff, or sent all of his stuff to his new house, except for that. So his parents were like, we're getting rid of this crap.
12 boxes.
12 boxes of pornographic films and magazine were missing. Are these video film or DVD or Blu-ray?
Is it USB drives worth of video?
That's it. Hey. They could be streaming. I don't know. What's the Roku of porn? His parents admit that they dumped the porn, which includes titles such as Frisky Business and I can't. It involves grandparents. I can't say it. I can't do it. I can't bring myself. Even in the 4 o'clock hour, I can't bring myself to do it. The man filed a complaint with police, but the Ottawa County prosecutor declined to press charges. Why? It's $29,000 worth of stuff. That's felonious, people. It's felonious. It's the dollar amount. It's not the nature of the thing that was damaged. The lawsuit includes an email excerpt from the man's father who told his son, I did you a big favor by getting rid of all of this stuff. The man is seeking triple financial damages of roughly $87,000, which I'm going to assume is the cost of replacing with a commensurate new collection in Blu-ray form, is what I'm going to assume. Don't make hand gestures at me over there, Joe. I am genuinely curious, though. Okay, it is his property. All right, let me just throw this out there. Okay,
yeah.
To the Ottawa County prosecutor, it is his property. His parents didn't have a right to throw it away, and we might be talking about tens of thousands of dollars worth of personal private property here that was destroyed by a third party. The nature of the property is irrelevant. The property belonging to him and the value of the property is all that is relevant. So I think he's got a serious case against the Ottawa County Prosecutor's Office now. This could be a violation of his rights. If his parent, now I'm not saying that I don't appreciate and understand exactly what his parents were trying to do, because I'm sure that this has led to the divorce, or at least was a big part of it. And I'm sure that his parents are just trying to, like, dude, you're 40 years old. It's time to get off of this stuff now. So I have no doubt that the parents are coming at this from a position of love and parenting. But the Ottawa County Prosecutor's Office, even though I think that they're taking the moral case here and trying to protect the parents, I think they might find themselves in legal hot water if he finds a lawyer willing to really go after him. And there's no doubt that this dude's kind of a scumbag for going after mom and dad like this, but that doesn't change the fact that it's his property and it has value, and he legitimately filed a claim, and he has evidence that his parents have admitted to doing it. And that could be a real issue, a real legal issue for Ottawa County, and a real legal issue for his parents, who I think are just doing this out of love. And I think he's being scum, okay? But legally speaking, he's got really good cases against both of those parties. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Rolling.
Hold on.
Oh my God, man. Oh, jeez. Who has the room to store that much porn?
Apparently his parents.
12 boxes. Okay, how big were the boxes, though? It just says boxes. What size boxes are we talking about?
Well, I'm guessing probably about the size of an e-fridge, which is about...
You're guessing, though.
Let's assume.
What if it was a large, heavy-duty Lowe's box? We don't know the ratio of media involved here.
$29,000 divided by 12 size box.
What is the cost? What is the cost of an adult movie or magazine these days?
I don't know. Most everything now.
Come on, 19-year-old college kid. You're supposed to be my go-to on this.
Everything is free on the internet if you want it to be. Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
Did he have, like, Bang Bus passwords and things like that in there? Does that count? I don't. There's so many questions I have about this. So many questions. So many questions.
That was brought up on our live stream, so I will. Yeah, well, he hasn't addressed it yet, so I'll go ahead and tell him.
They lose value, Paul said.
All right, thank you. You too. Your mom and the caller just brought up. What about cost of storing and living with them for 10 months?
Yeah, okay, they can countersue for that.
Right.
But they're going to come out.
It's still,
they're going to lose.
Let's look at it like something else you would collect, like comic books that you could get $29,000. If they were to destroy that, it'd be we'll sue for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
because it's a collection.
Yeah.
He's got a case.
Yeah, legally speaking, he has a case.
And again, he's an a-hole for doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that his parents were doing everything they could to get him to stop living his life like a troglodyte.
I'm sure they had this conversation while they were talking.
Oh, I'm sure it came up.
I'm sure there's more backstory.
Absolutely, I'm absolutely sure that it came up, 100%. But
our financial planning-led approach.
I mean, I have to assume that the divorce is tied to this. Whether it's the fact that he has it or the amount of money and time that he spends doing it. And so his parents are like, okay, you just lost your family now because of this crap. I'm not going to help you continue to destroy your life with it. So I'm sure the parents, I have no doubt that the parents are trying to do the right thing here. But legally speaking,
Or something a little more buttoned up, courtesy of Grasshopper.
This guy is a sick puppy. Debbie does Dallas. No, Casey does Elkhart.
For billing, dial 2. To speak with Greg Smith, dial
There's no contest. Put your best voice
As my 2-year-old would say, there's Rudolph! Every corner of Elkhart.
Oh,
and she calls out the colors, Dada, Red Rudolph!
That is so cute, though.
It is pretty damn cute. Oh, my God. Take care, Fly.
Bye.
We gave you the appropriate send-off there, buddy. Oh, boy. All right, 574-2595-95-3. That is 2595953. So some people have asked me this, okay? All right, and this is a good question. My mom even brought this up. Some of the text messages, my God. Okay.
They keep coming. They just text messages keep rolling in. I keep reading them, and I can't read the ones that I want to read. Casey, did he pay rent? Did parents give notice to get it out of their house, and he ignored the notice? Okay. This is a great question. All right. Now, based on what I read in that one article, he moved in with his parents in Michigan. Okay. Took his stuff with him, including the 12 boxes of adult material. All right. Then he moved to his house in Muncie, Indiana, where his parents shipped his stuff to his new house, minus the stuff they didn't want him to have. So I don't think that this was a case of him leaving this stuff in their house to store it. All right. Now, I don't know. I'm just basing this on the article that I read. It might be possible that they said you can bring all of your stuff over here except for that stuff. And he did anyway. And when they shipped the stuff back, they found it and decided that they were going to take matters into their own hands. It's possible too. Some people said, what if they were to sue him for rent for staying with them and things like? I think they could probably do that if they had a contract or something of that nature. But even then, they're going to lose money on this because it's obviously not $29,000 worth of rent. He's suing for $87,000 because he's got to replace his stuff, right? He's got to change formats and move it. Like I said, the dude's pretty scummy. All right, pretty scummy. I think the parents. Anybody who amasses a collection, air quote, like that, they've got more issues. All right. Look, people enjoy that stuff. That's cool, but it's not supposed to be a hobby. Okay, it's not healthy to have a hobby like that. But I'm more concerned about the Ottawa County prosecutors here because we were talking about this during the break. If you have a comic book collection, or you have a baseball card collection, or basketball card, because basketball cards are worth a lot of money, and your parents just trash it, you have a lawsuit. And everybody says you have a lawsuit. If you were to amass a collection of rare coins and your parents were to just go to the coin store and change them in and get face value for them, and you were to lose, like that thief, remember that thief who stole all those rare coins and cashed it in for like $14 or something? Remember that guy? Stole like $100,000 worth of coins, cashed in for like $14. You could sue them. I don't know that this is any different. Now, I don't know that his valuation of it was correct either. Okay, just because it cost you $29,000 in order to amass the stuff doesn't mean that is its worth. But yeah, I have a lot of questions about this. But even though I agree with the parents and I understand and appreciate what the Ottawa County Prosecutor's Office is trying to do, I am just sitting here going, I think legally this guy is right, though. Not the moral thing to do. It's not the right thing to do. But we're not debating that. We're talking about the legal thing to do. All right. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. How's that boycott Israel thing going? Is this still going on? I think we still got some people who are boycotting Israel. And so one of the things that I like to do as people are sitting out there telling everybody not to buy anything from Israel, nothing that's an Israeli product or anything like that, is I like to highlight new inventions that come from Israel that will have wide-ranging impacts on human life. And so the latest one is that an Israeli scientist is the first in the world to 3D print a brand new heart. How many of them boycott Israel people that might need a heart transplant at some point in the future? I'm just throwing it out there, folks, just in case. A team of Israeli researchers has printed the world's first 3D vascularized engineered heart. On Monday, a team from Tel Aviv University researchers revealed the heart, which was made using a patient's own cells and biological material. Until now, the scientists have successfully printed only simple tissues without blood vessels. This is the first time that anyone, anywhere, has successfully engineered and printed an entire heart replete with cells, blood vessels, ventricles, and chambers, said Professor Tal Devere, of TAU's School of Molecular Cell Biology and Biotechnology, Department of Materials Science and Engineering, and the Center for Nanoscience and Nanotechnology at the Sagal Center for Regenerative Biotechnology. Holy mother of God. You need an acronym, people. Jeez. That was real. That was a real thing. That's a heck of a name, man. Maybe it's like super simple in Yiddish. And I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't translate. I don't know. He worked for Professor Asaf Shapira of TAU's Faculty of Life Sciences and Native Moray doctoral student. Their research was published in Advanced Science. Heart disease is the leading cause of death among both men and women in the United States. In Israel, it is the second largest cause of death after cancer. In 2013, heart disease accounted for about 16% of the total number of deaths in Israel, according to the health ministry. This is an amazing medical achievement. An amazing medical achievement. And that they use the patient's own cells to 3D print a human tissue full heart with all of the vessels and ventricles and chambers and everything could be a huge game changer in the near future. I got to tell you folks about Z-Bar to South Bend. So here's the deal. Weather's going to be nice and toasty and warm tomorrow. So why don't you go to Z-Bar to South Bend, get that vehicle detailed, man. Get the nice cars out of the garage, drive around, cruise around with your ceramic Z-Gloss paint coating, making your vehicle shine as if it were just poured over with gloss. Just make it look beautiful. So beautiful that you will not have to wax or polish it for 7 years. Go to Z-Bar to South Bend, talk to them about the ceramic Z-Gloss, talk to them about getting an interior or exterior paint coating, detail. And if you've got those foggy, ugly headlights, get them fixed, man. Have them clean those off, buff them out, make them look like their showroom shine again. And, of course, that'll help you at night when you're using your lights as well. Go to Z-Bar to South Bend, of course. Please let them know that I sent you. More coming up on 95.3 MNC.
WTRC-FM and HD1. Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
Okay, time to do my coffee. Over here, you've been brewing a long time there, sweet little lady. Bet you're going to be strong. Huh?
I'm trying to figure out what this timing is. My mom brought this up. Nothing like discussing porn with mom.
Heck yeah.
Exclusive interview with Jimmy Carter. True story. Jimmy Carter was the first POTUS to do an interview with Playboy.
I don't have an issue with adult material, but if you're amassing a $29,000 collection of it, I have some questions. You know what I mean?
How's that feel?
Fun. It was fun.
All right.
We were just doing some training.
AeroPress.
You hear the
custom mug,
the porn thing? $26,000.
$29,000.
Allegedly, $26,000 worth of porn got thrown out by a 40-year-old man's parents. He had to live with them for 10 months after he got divorced. And so
we're suing
12
as a connection.
boxes worth of porn got thrown out. And he's
suing them for $87,000.
$87,000.
Tell me that's the replacement value of. Like, I don't know where that number is.
I don't know.
It was three times his stated value of his stash.
Allegedly. So that's $26,000 is the number that he gave the
Pain and suffering.
The way that we went with it was that's got to be the cost of replacing it with new modern formats, right?
Yes. Because we're hoping. I don't know how.
That's not my thing. I don't know.
I was just like, okay, so let's go for a month.
I kept asking the 19-year-old college student, how much do they go for now? He's like, I don't know. It's all free online. I have no idea what they would even go for.
I personally don't have a clue.
Everything's free online.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Hey, I got a question for you off the live stream.
Hate it.
You hate it?
Yeah.
You hate my question?
No, whatever you're going to ask, I hate it.
Oh, okay.
What's up?
It's about dinner.
Okay, what about it?
So, is this the name of the guy who you're bringing? Is that the name of the guy who you're bringing to the Lincoln Day dinner? No. I don't know where she got that name. Tell me the person's name. She said, ask Casey whether he's still planning to come because he has not RSVP'd.
For what?
For the Lincoln Day dinner.
St. Joe?
Do you have a, yes.
I have to RSVP?
No, not you. Your friend. Whoever.
Okay, no. I'm not bringing anybody.
Okay.
Okay?
Then don't worry.
I'm not bringing anybody. Derek Dieter, not Dick Durbin, who is from New York, I think. No, Derek Dieter said that he might get tickets.
Okay.
So he's not a guest. I'm not bringing anybody. I am Stag. I don't even want to give Candace the impression that I have anybody with me. Okay? I'm Stag.
Who the hell is this guy? Where's Tom?
All right. Cool.
Yeah. No. I'm not bringing anybody with me.
Okay.
So
that answers that.
Okay.
Because we're talking back and forth about that seating confusion.
No.
And she said her intention was that you would actually got to sit with Candace.
Okay.
But Candace doesn't want to sit at the meal. She wants to go back to her room and like finish getting in the zone for her speech. So
okay.
It's
okay.
It's all good. This is just a follow up to.
All right.
That.
Yeah. No. I just gave her a heads up because he contacted me and said that he might get tickets because he wants to see her. But even though he leans right, he was a Democrat. So, it was just one of those things where I was like, if people would be uncomfortable with that, he can sit at my table. That's all it was. It was just, I'm not bringing him.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if he got tickets, he got tickets. If he didn't, he didn't.
100%.
Yeah, I don't have a date.
Okay. No worries.
All right.
All right. Otherwise, have a good show.
Word.
Don't buy porn.
Stymie says Dick Diggler is +1. I know you all can hear me. I'm not trying to hide. it.
I think it's because they heard Dave go off the mic.
Oh. No, he just had a question because Derek Dieter had said that he might go to the Lincoln Day dinner for the St. Joseph County Republican Party. And there was just confusion as to who I was bringing. I wasn't bringing anybody, and it was just... I just let them know that, if you guys are uncomfortable having him there, he could sit at my table. I didn't think that they would be. I just figured I'd offer.
Did the pole collapse, or did somebody hit it?
Oh. You know what? It's nice seeing him not bundled up, like he's about to die and freeze to death on Hoth.
It looks like he's a little warm, actually.
I haven't seen him in normal clothes. That poor guy is always out in the freezing cold.
Auto Spa also lets you control your wash. Pull up in the bay and get it done by hand, or drive through their automatic wash and get on your way.
Tell me when they 3D print the first porn star, and then I'd be interested.
Give me a ticket.
Yeah, rolling with the 3D printed porn star thing.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO.
Did he account for the pages that were stuck together? Dude, that is what the internet is for. Porn. Casey, just where does he get off suing his parents? I'll bet his Stormy Daniels videos are worth big bucks. He should sue for more. The quality of acting demands that he do so. Mint condition certification for porn should include being blacklight tested.
Okay, that one's good. That one's funny.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
If you print a porn star, I bet you'll need a lot of stuff. Also, chats.
Hey, all natural adult film stars do well too, man. I know a few of them. They do well. Just saying. All right, here we go. I wonder if she would reject her own tissue. Jesus, Tracy. Oh, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. How many stories have I done? I have done 4 stories, and that is it. In 2 hours, I've done only 4 stories today. Can you believe that? And that includes the cathedral in Notre Dame. Well, the cathedral at Notre Dame in Paris.
which, by the way, we have the story at 953mnc.com. And I did that for like, I don't know, maybe 8 minutes. I mean, it's still going. It's 11:07 p.m. there. It's still going. It's still on fire, but I think it's under control now. It's much better than it was, but
they
it's
did
still
evacuate
horrible.
like the whole area around it in case of a total collapse.
Yeah, well, the fire chief wasn't sure they can contain it. It was burning so hot.
Yeah.
Now,
but as far as we know, all the art has been saved.
The art was saved.
Historical artifacts and whatnot.
No deaths at this point, and hopefully that continues. News. So yeah, Joe was able to find where they found a curator or something like that. It said yes, we have moved everything.
Yeah, priest, who'd been there for a couple of years.
Yes, so that's good. And the thing is, you know that there's somebody out there going, do we really have to move all of this stuff when we do the renovations? And somebody's like, let's just do it just in case. And that ended up being a good move. So, so right now we're thankful that nobody's hurt, and we're thankful that none of the priceless artifacts have been destroyed. We're sad that the building is, at this point, we don't know if it can be saved.
The roof has collapsed.
The roof is, the roof was gone pretty early. The spire's obviously gone. The wood frame they expect is gone. The question is, can they maintain the structure that's still there and rebuild? That becomes the thing. And you hope that they can because of stone, but we don't entirely know yet. So once we know all that information over the next several days, obviously we'll continue to pass that on to you, but pretty horrible day in Paris. And there are some people that are wondering if there might be an arson element to this. Of course, early on they were saying, the renovation is happening. We believe it's tied to that. We don't know yet. The investigation has been started, and as soon as it is safe to start doing the investigation, they will, of course, start doing so. 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. And Second Amendment Arms and Range. Yeah, you can go out to Second Amendment Arms and Range, get half off your range time, and you can also go ahead and mention me to get 10% off in the store and listener exclusive discounts on firearms. Go to secondamendmentarms.net. Okay, 574-2595-95.3. What do I want to go with here? We'll do the Buttigieg stuff again at 5:30. I was on Todd Starnes' program today because I didn't anticipate doing an hour on it in the 3 o'clock hour. I don't want to do it so soon, so we'll do it at 5:30. We'll get to that, even though technically it's like the biggest local thing, and we usually do the biggest local thing at 5 o'clock, but because it went so long in the 3 o'clock hour, we'll just wait a little bit. But Pete Buttigieg is running for president. There's another guy who will be running for president, in case you hadn't heard, and his name is Donald. Okay, Donald will be running for president as well. Okay, so now, here's where things get interesting. The Associated Press. Trump has a, quote, unprecedented war chest for an incumbent president this early in a campaign. Just throwing that out there. Did you see that he got to 58% approval in a poll last week? 58. President Donald Trump's re-election campaign reportedly has raised over $30 million during the first quarter of 2019. The Associated Press defined the $30 million plus $10.8 million in the campaign already had in its coffers for $40.8 million total as an unprecedented war chest for an incumbent president this early in a campaign. By contrast, the president's top two Democratic opponents, Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris, raised $18 million and $12 million respectively, and former President Barack Obama had only $2 million in his campaign coffers at this point in the 2012 campaign. So if you go back, you look at Obama for the 2012 campaign, he only had $2 million in his coffers. Trump has nearly $41 million. He's got a lot of money. Trump's campaign reported an average donation of $34.26, with 99% of his donations being $200 or less, according to the AP report. So most people are going to be working class people donating to him. Okay, $200 or less. So most people are working class donating to President Trump. Now, I ran into an article the other day where you had all of these members of the media trying to figure out how it was that the Democratic Party was going to appeal to the white working class voter. And so naturally, people just pounced on this and said, well, I hear calling them racist is a great way to earn their vote. there is going to be a lot of backlash with the Democratic Party over this, because they have promoted the idea that the white working class voter, basically the middle class worker in this country, is a white supremacist, neo-Nazi, racist person, and that's the only reason that they support Donald Trump. So you've made that case, all right, for all of these years. And now you're staring at an election and you're going, we have to win those people back. So do you remember me making the reference? And it's purely coincidental this is coming up because Buck Sexton and Tommy Lahren were at Talk Tank 2019. Do you remember me making the case that Glenn Beck was going to have a branding problem after the election because he went full bore anti-Trump? Remember that? But he didn't just go anti-Trump. He went anti every Trump supporter. You know, when you get into the realm of speech that Beck got into, I said he's going to have to walk that back at some point because that's his audience. It's one thing to disagree. It's one thing to say, I don't think he's the guy. But when you run around and you say the things that you say about him and his supporters, and the things that Glenn said were pretty vile, actually, there's a reason that people turned on him. And I know that he's trying to repair that right now. I wish him well. But you're going to have to walk that back at some point. So how do you get to a point where you look at somebody and you go, I know I called you a brown shirt a couple of months ago, but really we're on the same side. I mean, why don't you just, pay attention to me again and like me and hang out with me and that sort of thing. That's a hard thing to do. So if you're the Democratic Party and you have invested the past several years, by the time we get to this point, it's going to be 4 or 5 years if you include campaign time, and calling the white working class voter, which is, by the way, the majority of the country, if you're going to call them white supremacists and racists and things like that, sexist, homophobes, transphobes, all of these things, now you get to go to them and go, we're really sorry that we said that about you. We didn't really mean you. We just meant people from Alabama. We didn't really mean you. And then when somebody from Pennsylvania says, no, you specifically referenced those of us who work in coal mines in Pennsylvania as being this way. And they go, no, it's it's totally out of context. Like, it's only people in Alabama. It's not you, but it is you. It is you. And now you need them to vote for you. That's going to be tough. You know who hasn't alienated them? The guy who's got $40.8 million in his war chest right now. All he's done is gone to bat for them. So you've got to run against a really good economy. You've got to run against a guy who clearly loves this country. You've got to run against a guy who has just had every case against him being illegitimate wiped out and completely discredited. All of the attention and everything else that went in with that. And he's the guy that hasn't alienated the white working class voter. And you've got to get around him in order to win. That's going to take some doing. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's going to take some doing, especially when he has a lot more money than you from the get-go. So $40.8 million is huge. Like I said, Obama at this point in his presidency had $2 million left. Trump's got 40.8. Again, things can change, but they've just been amassing low-dollar donations from working-class Americans, which doesn't bode well for working-class Americans shifting back over to the Democratic side this next election. We'll see. Its early signs don't favor the Democrats at all. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
Your breaking news.
ABC 57 just had a really cool first-hand contact.
Yeah, she's in Paris, huh?
Yeah, Avery Conybeare, which I assume is related to Brian Conybeare.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's probably how they got her.
Yeah. I wonder who's paying the international phone bill. But they, she's first-hand Paris. It was really cool, actually, to have a local station have a first-hand Paris contact.
Absolutely.
Not really related to anything, but it's just...
But, it's somebody on the ground. I mean, they were showing the streets and the bridges and things like that in Paris. People are just gathered on, just staring. Nobody's saying a damn thing.
I mean, yeah.
They're all just staring at it.
What do you expect? When
it's just shock.
oldest national landmarks is being destroyed, whether on purpose or on accident.
Yeah. So Beck lost huge. Somebody said, all right, so here's the deal. So both Buck Sexton and Tommy Lahren used to work for Glenn. You know that Tommy did. I don't know how many of you know that Buck did. Buck has told me some stories. From what I understand, Tommy told some stories at dinner last night or Saturday night as well. And she referenced Glenn a couple of times, not by name, on the stage at Talk Tank. And yeah, it was. So there's like a little text line, so I kept texting Kayla and telling her who I was. And so Kayla would be up there. She was playing the moderator, and all of a sudden Kayla would look down. She would read something, and she would go. She would look right at me, and I was like, "To Tommy, how satisfying is it that your former boss now agrees with you about everything and is trying to act like you, Casey?" And she wouldn't ask her. But right after that, I swear to God, right after that, Tommy Lahren said, "I watched my old boss cry when Trump won. That night when he won, tears coming down his face, ran off like a crybaby and locked himself in a room and bawled." I was like, ask the question, please. And she wouldn't, because Kayla's a professional or something. And then there's just me, trying to be the troublemaker. Just trying to make things amusing.
Well, neither of those people that they just showed are actually part of the five.
I don't know. Maybe there's a vacation thing happening.
The song is responsibility that separates you from harmful actions.
What is Tom? Tom on vacation or something? You are Tom. Tom's darker than you are. Not on purpose.
There is progress.
You mean Mike Gallagher? Mike Gallagher did that? I didn't know that Mike Gallagher did that. Did he really?
Every day, and Global Link Distribution
Wow.
supports this so that the ideals of courage, respect,
You work it to maple, birch, or poplar?
sacrifice.
I have no clue. I feel okay today. I feel okay today. Yeah, I don't know what my allergies are. I've got to get a screen done. Casey, you think the reporter expressed his opinion about your commie coworkers? No, I think he was trying to get me fired. Or he just wasn't paying attention.
I was taking inferences from stuff that he searched.
Yeah. Casey George Soros has a lot of money too. Yes, but the ability to raise money is very, very important because it shows you the enthusiasm gap. That's what it does. So, but again, we don't have a nominee yet. It's just that people are giving Trump a butt ton of money that normally don't donate. That's the thing.
With ceramic Z-gloss, so it's going to be showroom shiny for
57
7
was
years.
just talking about
That can't be it. Then they tinted my windows.
It's because ABC 57 listens to us. But dude, I've got a story to tell you after the show. I can't tell the live stream. Sorry guys, I'm not allowed. Ooh, there's a New Jersey phone call. Oh baby. What, Tracy? Yeah, wow, it's really Mike Gallagher did that. Wow, I'm shocked. Yeah, no, mine's from New Jersey. You know who's in New Jersey? All those media people.
But did you know that you could change that not so great feeling while at the same time preventing your kid from having
Doing Todd's show was fun.
Are you going to play it, Edison?
Yeah, I'm gonna play it at 5:30.
Yeah. If I'm going to play it, I'm going to have to stop recording.
I don't want them to have student loans, and I don't
Yeah.
want to have student loans on their behalf. Student loans
Not
will
that I
make the
can't.
beginning of their careers harder, and if I have student loans on their behalf, it throws a huge wrench in my retirement.
3 seconds to come to video on Twitch. 10 seconds. Yeah. So the YouTube, the comments are slow on this particular app, but this is the best, most streamlined setup that I have ever had streaming, and I can't find a better one with doing 2 platforms at the same time. More union workers are backing Trump than last time. You're right. And you have major players in the labor movement who are pretty darn happy with what Trump has done. So it's there's a very interesting dynamic here. Very interesting. People are talking about Trump's second term being like Reagan's second, where everybody thinks it's going to be close and nobody likes the president, and all of a sudden it's a blowout. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen because I'm not sure the dynamics of the country are like they were in the 80s, but if you look at the people that are donating to him, it's really interesting to see. It really is.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Joe came in today and said, well, your brother congratulated me on being the first person to predict that Pete Buttigieg would run for president. The first prediction that I had was he was running for Senate, and that's before he won as mayor. That was my first interview with him. I said he's running for higher office, probably Senate. But the path to Senate was closed in the state of Indiana, so you got to run for something. Might as well. He's got to get out of South Bend. But it's going to be really interesting. We're talking about the war chest here during the live stream and how much money that Trump has. But here's somebody pointed out that, hey, George Soros has a lot of money too. No, I agree with you. Eventually, the Democrats will close the gap on the money thing. It's going to take a while. They have to get through their primary and that sort of stuff. I'm just pointing out that if you're looking at a voter enthusiasm aspect of things, everybody was supposed to be super enthusiastic about Obama, but they weren't giving him any money. But they are giving Trump a lot of money. And there's another aspect to this too. Trump does more with less. Whereas somebody like Obama will have to spend millions of dollars to get the impact of Trump doing a couple of tweets. There's, and I don't say that to denigrate Obama. I say that to highlight how effective Trump is at social media. And let's not deny that. He's so effective at social media, even the press wants him kicked off of it, okay? The press, who says freedom of speech is everything and freedom of the press is everything, we need access and everything, they want the president's Twitter shut down. But he's just super effective at this stuff. But when you look at the amount of money he has, $40.8 million, okay? 30 million of that is new donations. 10 million is leftover. So 30 million is new donations, and they are coming from, what they say, like over 90 some odd percent were coming from under $200 donations, which means people who do not have means are giving this guy money. Probably people in the lower middle class, middle class, that sort of thing, are giving this guy money. What it does do, it's not I didn't mean to present it as he has a lot of money and therefore a lot of money wins. What I meant to do was that there's an enthusiasm issue here where people throughout his presidency continue to give him money instead of backing away. There was a question that was asked of the panel at Talk Tank. So the Talk Tank thing on WOWO, which I took listeners to, had Tommy Lahren, had Buck Sexton, had Todd Starnes, Pat Miller, and then Kayla went ahead and did the moderating. And they were all great, as they always are. But they asked them about this, enthusiasm gap and that sort of thing. And, when you look at the way that people are treating Trump, can he get elected without getting the wall and everything else? And, Pat Miller made the point, he goes, I don't think any of his base blames him for the wall not happening. Now, the Never Trumpers tried to blame him before the midterm election, and it backfired. I think people realize that Trump is not the reason there isn't a wall and that he's trying to get a wall, and he's getting wall done in some parts. But I think people realize that it's not him. And now that the Democrats have won the midterm elections and the Democrats are in control in the House, everybody blames the Democrats. Whereas before they were blaming Republicans, and rightfully so, because it was Republicans in control on both sides. But now they're just squarely putting the blame on the Democratic Party. So the Democrats have to overcome that as well. So it's really interesting. Somebody sent a text, says there's a silent majority that really likes what our POTUS is doing. Yeah, and I think a lot of them lean left. Honestly. If you look at, did you see the polling here that came out recently that showed that moderate Democrats were the lion's share of the Democratic Party? They're not the crazy people that you see on TV. Like I've told you this before. Your neighbors are not crazy. Okay, some of you have nutsy neighbors. I'm just talking about in general, in a broad sense of the word. Your neighbors are not crazy. All right, people get along with one another for the vast majority of us. It's not a difficult thing to do. And so if you look at a traditional Democrat who might be coming at an issue from a different perspective than you, and perhaps it's not an informed sort of a thing. All right, perhaps it's just a gut instinct or an emotional thing for them. Okay. But you still have the same goal. Owen Benjamin, and I talked about this at Casey Does Elkhart over the weekend. Owen Benjamin is a comedian. The dude's like 10 feet tall. It's like crazy weird. He's taller than Comey, I think. But this is a comedian who's very funny, by the way. But he came out as a conservative, and then all of a sudden his whole career was just turned upside down. Couldn't get a job, couldn't get a gig, started getting censored on platforms and things like that. And he's really funny. Usually does family comedy, right? Well, he came out as a conservative and it changed everything. So now he's doing a lot more political stuff. But he talks about shared goals a lot, which is something that you kind of hear on my show, but I like the way that he phrases it. And he says, I'm the most conservative person in my family, okay? My dad is a liberal when it comes to guns. But my dad and I have a shared goal of kids not being murdered. So we disagree about how to get there, but we have a shared goal. So we'll have a debate, we'll have a discussion about it, and then we go back to eating dinner. My mom and I disagree about this other issue, but we have a shared goal, and the outcome is just we don't know how to get there. So we disagree on that. He says, same thing with my brother. And so there's no fighting. It's, we'll have a debate, we'll argue policy, that sort of thing, and we just go back to being who we are. When people want to fundamentally change the country to be completely different than it is, to get rid of the way that we elect presidents, to get rid of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, to completely erase those things, we don't have shared goals. We can never be on the same side because we don't have a goal that we are both striving for. If somebody like Swalwell, who now announced, this is the guy who threatened to nuke anybody who owned a gun, this guy says the Second Amendment is not a fundamental right. There's a piece of parchment in the Capitol where he works that says otherwise. So you can't have a shared goal with him. Not on that issue. It's impossible, right? He will try and say that his goal is saving lives, but his goal is not to save lives. Your goal might be to save lives. His goal is to disarm you. There's a huge difference. There's no mutual goal there. You're always going to be rivals with that guy. Ocasio-Cortez, talking about getting rid of air travel. All right, some of you fly for a living. I want to be able to fly for a living, okay? We're never going to have a shared goal. Even if we both want clean water and clean air, we will never have a shared goal because she is completely opposed to basic things, right? That we all need. So I really like the way that Owen Benjamin kind of phrases that stuff. And I think most Americans have shared goals. We just have disagreements about how to get there. And it's okay to have those debates. That's why I was so disappointed that Democrats didn't show up for Casey Does Elkhart about the referendum. Because the goal is fixing the Elkhart community schools, right? But there's a proposal that people disagree with, and they use a history of examples on why they disagree with that. And the other side didn't show up in order to argue that. So that was a shame. So hopefully we can change that in the future. Somebody mentioned the Federalist Papers come to mind. Yeah. Anytime you need the Constitution explained, read the Federalist Papers. It's the whole point of them. They explain everything. If there's ever confusion about the Constitution, read the Federalist Papers. All right, MNC News Time is 5:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
What else is there?
Owen went nuck and futz, did he? The last thing I saw with him was the PragerU video, which I thought he did a good job on.
I skip over PragerU because I'm trying to watch a video, and it usually shows up, and I'm like, I don't want to watch this right now. Leave me alone. Now the most common ad I see right now is the Red Bull Ninja ad.
Oh my God, Red Bull Ninja ad.
I'm like, I don't drink Red Bull, nor do I give a fuck about Ninja.
I did a whole bit years ago. I couldn't understand how it was that Red Bull got away with putting a naked cartoon in their commercial. And so I came into the show one day when I was in Vegas, and I was like, how did they get away with doing this? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, we can't, on regular television, you can't have a naked human being or a naked animated character. So how does Red Bull have a naked woman in their advertisement? And then, so I think my co-host at the time was like, what do you mean naked? So I showed her the commercial. She's naked. Her boobs are out and she has nipples. She has nipples, okay? Because it's Eve from Adam and Eve. She was naked. Nips. And how did they get away with that? I'm still perplexed by it. I'm totally perplexed by it because it took South Park like an additional 10 years to even have the kids naked in the show. It was a funny scene, though. They thought they were invisible. It was really funny. It was really funny. So they were playing, and they had superpowers, so they turned invisible. They were moving in tiny little... It was so funny. But, yeah, the Red Bull commercial has a naked woman in it. And I've always been perplexed that they were able to get that on regular television. It made no sense. Made absolutely no sense.
Oh, seriously. It's about the topic?
Wait.
About this traffic?
You were banned from Owen's channel for saying that we landed on the moon? Is he one of those?
You believe in the moon?
Is Owen Benjamin a truther on the moon landing? I didn't know that.
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
Child butt, I at least understand. Like, you can show butt on TV. Nipples are a no-go.
I'm sorry, what?
I didn't know that. I don't watch his channel. I just see his video. I didn't know that he was a moon lander truther. I didn't know that. Yeah, Happy. Cher changed her tune, didn't she?
Okay. Check your Facebook.
Ah, crap. What's going on now? I can't check my Facebook. I gotta get my phone.
All right. Thank you. I will. Yeah. Thank you. Angie sent you a message, a screenshot of the Elkhart Truth. They reposted your article and the last eating you up right now.
They're eating me up, huh? Oh.
Let me see.
Visit Tuesday nights for half-price wine bottles. Wednesday for $2 beer night. Visit Thursdays to check out Roman's Ridiculous List. Or upgrade your evenings Tuesdays through Saturdays with the atmosphere of Temple Grill. The perfect backdrop for any occasion. Reservation required.
So they took that quote that I was specifically referencing on social media.
For some strange.
Yeah, for some strange reason. Because I wasn't talking about that event at all. But
well, gee, Mr. Conservative Radio Host, I can't figure out why the liberals want to interact with you. Maybe we're just too busy listening to NPR and watching our next president announce his candidacy.
Oh yeah, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing there, buddy.
This is gold.
That's what you're doing. All right, so go to the Elkhart Truth's Facebook page, Horde. You have a mission.
Why would a liberal support anything from that radio station? If Fox Entertainment...
If they would have come, they would have heard about the liberals in our news department. We're not even Fox Entertainment.
Oh, hold on. We got one on our side. If the dude is... Wait, hold on. Maybe not. Let me reread it.
Go to the Elkhart Truth's Facebook page and comment on my article. It is such
Why
clickbait.
Would anyone attend this? What an awful waste of time.
I thought it was a pretty fun time, actually. Had a good time.
I don't want to see most relevant. I want to see all comments.
No nipples on Twitch anymore. Yeah, so okay, so Angie sent, that's funny.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive little blue pill is now generic.
So go to the Elkhart Truth's Facebook page where everybody's commenting.
And now get your first month supply for just $5 at 4hims.com/Chris. Hims connects you with real doctors online.
And you all
It's Fox
engage.
Entertainment, but on the radio with Trump brand media, Limbaugh, Hannity is just a dumbass station.
Which was specifically addressed at the event. So they're repeating a bunch of false claims that were addressed at the event, but they don't know that they were addressed at the event because they didn't come to the event. because why would they? So they just keep repeating crap that isn't true.
I think my favorite one is "Well, gee, Mr. Conservative Radio." That's the top comment.
It's a notch above.
My favorite one.
When you walk into our door, we engage with anybody on our staff. Realize that
I can't see it, so because I can't. I for some reason these browsers will not let me do it. I was able to log on with the browser when I was at 5-Star Dive Bar. I have not been able to.
Bad timing. No, he planned his event before the Browns did.
Yes. Yep, mine was planned before Pete's was. Maybe Pete planned his event.
He's a hack for one. I used to listen to him every day.
Oh,
his lies and misinterpretations of the truth became way
with zero examples, right?
Much.
Yep. Used to listen to him every day.
Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
That's good stuff right there, man.
Where?
Good stuff. I can't go in the browser though.
Alrighty, I will get that out there as soon as I can. Thank you.
That was funny.
The guy becomes full of himself and started to believe his own nonsense.
What does that even mean?
That's the rest of that comment.
I believe in my own nonsense. Okay. I do believe that 2 + 2 is 4. I mean, there is that.
Liberal indoctrination has destroyed the Democrats' mind. If they would awaken from the coma they are in, they would just see what damage has been done to them.
They got one person on there at least. So there was 41 comments when she screenshot it and sent it to me. So your mission is to go to the Elkhart Truth's Facebook page and defend me on their post of my article in which they clickbaited the hell out of that quote because it had nothing to do with Democrats not showing up. Several of whom told us they were going to be there.
Yep.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3,
Michiana's News Channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. I'm going to play you. I was on Todd Starnes' radio program today. And then after we're done with that, Joe's going to read some of his favorite comments because the Elkhart Truth has posted their article about me on their Facebook page. And, of course, all of the liberals on Facebook are commenting on it. And it's funny because they're commenting on things that were addressed last night and dispelled as myth. And they're still repeating it because they didn't show up last night to actually see this. But I'm going to play you my interview with Todd Starnes because it was a good interview. I was on Todd Starnes' radio program today talking about Pete Buttigieg. So here is that.
All of you, I want to make this clear. The greatest nation in the world should have nothing to fear from children fleeing violence. And even more importantly... Even more importantly... Children fleeing violence ought to have nothing to fear from the greatest country in the world.
All right, that's Mayor Pete Buttigieg there in South Bend, Indiana, making it official, running for the White House. So who exactly is this guy, and how did he really pop up out of nowhere onto the national scene? Well, to help us figure all of this out is a good friend of this radio program from South Bend, Indiana, Casey Hendrickson. He is the talk radio host there, the most popular, I think the number one talk radio host in the region, 95.3 WMNC. Casey, how's it going today?
It's going good, man. It's good to talk to you again.
Likewise, we ran into each other over the weekend there in Fort Wayne at the big Talk Tank event, and I told my producer we got to get Casey on the program.
I appreciate the pitch that you were doing to Tommy Lahren, by the way, because Tommy and I have never met. Buck and I have shut down a couple of restaurants late at night before, but Tommy and I had never met, and I just introduced myself. I shook hands, and Todd comes over and he's like, "This guy's a blowtorch in South Bend." I appreciated that. Thank you very much.
I did say that, didn't I? glad to make that connection there. So yes, Tommy Lahren, ladies and gentlemen, was with us along with Buck Sexton. It was a great night. Casey, they should have had you up on the stage.
You know, they did last year because it was their first year doing the event. And then this year, you know, hey, sometimes you got to let the kids do it on their own, Todd. And they did a fantastic job. It was really fun. You know, we brought some listeners up in a stretch limo, and it was a blast. You guys did great.
By the way, before we get into the mayor here, had dinner with two of your listeners.
Yes.
They were in a contest to have dinner with us, and we were the folks over at the Ruth's Chris in Fort Wayne. Unbelievably kind. It was a great meal, and really enjoyed talking. It was Brian and Angie who I got to hang out with.
Yep, that's correct. And Brian's in local government. Angie works for local government. So, not only did you get two really good people, but you also got an insight into some of Michiana's politics as well.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, because the mayor, it just seems to me that he sort of popped up out of nowhere. What's going on with this guy?
You know what's funny? When I interviewed him when he was first running for mayor, right after I got to South Bend, I said, this guy's running for Senate. Mayor is a stepping stone for him. Well, that path has been blocked. So he really doesn't have an option to run for Senate in Indiana right now. So the next best thing is to try and run for president, because even if he doesn't get it, he obviously raises his notoriety, if you will, within the party. He's got some really big power brokers in the Democratic Party from Chicago that have been behind him for a long time. So he's got the ability to raise money. As you can tell, he speaks softly. He comes off as very kind. Even his political rivals say he's a nice guy. But if you look at every radical, far left policy position and talking point of the Democratic Party and the Ocasio-Cortez wing of that party, he is lockstep in with them. He just says it in a nice, monotone way. But it's exactly the same stuff. When he ran for DNC chair, Todd, he put out this campaign ad and he said that, basically the Democratic Party is irrelevant in American politics today and we've got to find a new direction. And so here's some of the new things that we can do. Universal health care, get rid of the Electoral College, guns are bad. It's the same old talking points that we've been hearing for decades.
Early on, Casey, when we first started hearing about this guy, he was coming under attack from the leftists of the party, saying, "Well, the guy's white. We can't have a white candidate." Yeah. Then you have people saying that he was too gay, and I still don't understand what that was all about. And I, on this radio program, I defended the guy. I'm like, look, his policies are horrible. But he served our country honorably, and we should respect that. And why does it matter what color he is or what his sexual preferences are? I just never have understood that. But then he turns around, and I think he showed his true colors when he went after Vice President Pence and also the evangelical supporters of President Trump. That, to me, says a lot about this guy's character.
Well, and here's the thing that people have to understand something. First of all this turnaround Cinderella story about the city of South Bend under his tutelage is not true. Okay, everybody in the Washington Post and CNN and Politico who've been pushing that narrative, these are people who don't know anything about the city. We're in an area called Mishawaka, and the only reason that this is important is because there's a bunch of cities in close proximity to one another, and we all kind of consider ourselves citizens of the region, if you will, not just South Bend. And South Bend is universally considered to be the worst run of all of those cities. We can talk about crime. We can talk about how the South Bend School Corporation is one of only 2 school systems here that people actively flee and get their kids out of, how violent crime has gone up over 4 points since he has become mayor. We can go through a lot of that stuff, which, of course, the media leaves out. But I think you're hit on a point there. How sad is it that one of the major political parties of the United States is really running on you are not an identity enough, rather than looking at your policies, being able to pick apart the things that you've done. And it's really a sad commentary and everything. And some of the things that Pete Buttigieg has been given success for in downtown South Bend only happened because of Governor Mike Pence with the Regional Cities Investment Project. Now, to Pete credit, he went out and found matching funds in order to get those funds. Not he had done this Smart Streets project or not, but he's trying to take credit for it. And that all stemmed from Vice President Mike Pence when he was governor of Indiana. And to have Pete Buttigieg turn around and just slam him, it's like, dude, you're taking credit for a lot of the stuff that wouldn't have happened without him. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick, normal bill-paying break. We'll come back. We'll hopefully be able to finish the rest of my interview with Todd Starnes on his program today. And we are posting some links onto the live stream for you to be able to go have some fun with some of the people who are attacking me on Facebook. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Michiana's news channel is everywhere. The top news.
The character limit on YouTube is like 400, I think, and the link is longer than that.
So even the URL shorteners are not working.
It's 200.
We kept trying to use URL shorteners and stuff, and they weren't working. So this is, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to screenshot this. This is what I get when I try to go to Facebook on a browser. The only time I have successfully been able to get on Facebook with a browser was at 5-Star Dive Bar when I tried it while I was doing, that show. Bitly should be free. So
Tuesday and Wednesday, more dry time than wet time. Thursday is our rainy day, 65. A pretty good chance of rain and even a few thunderstorms. Behind that system, it gets much cooler for Friday and Saturday. Highs near 50 each day with a few remaining pesky showers. But for now, Easter looking good and dry with temperatures in the upper 60s. From the ABC 47 first morning neighborhood weather.
That I'm aware of. But I'm glad that I could help the Elkhart Truth get traffic.
Okay. So, thank you, Bitly, for the niceness. I have a Bitly link.
Okay, is that a rubber? I typed it didn't, and then on Twitch it says EIT, and it looks like it's a condom on top.
Oh,
What the hell is that?
I don't know why it's showing up like that.
I just typed it. Is that that looks like a rubber, right?
No, it does. But it looks normal in chat, which is weird.
That is so strange. What the hell is that? Oh, that's funny.
I'm glad.
Hey, I mean, look.
Was just like, hey, go into it, trying to find it.
If you do like free URL shortener, you'll get something.
Bitly's free. It's just like it was a pain to get into it. And
that is funny.
I'm like, no, I don't want all the.
I mean, the Elkhart Truth needed traffic, so I gave them traffic. See, I'm helping the local economy in Elkhart, and I've only just recently become homeless there.
How many people do you have blocked?
Blocked? On where?
Any platform.
3.
Difficult to engage in conversation if Casey has them blocked. A person.
Who the hell do I have blocked? So I have, they weren't engaging in any discussion.
Lawn fungus and insect control, lawn rolling and aeration. We treat your lawn like it's our own. Find us on Facebook or call 574.
The Elkhart Truth's Facebook page. It should be pretty easy. Go to Facebook, the Elkhart Truth. We got the link up there for you.
I can put it in again if you didn't see it.
And
again?
Go comment. Have some fun with it.
Hi, this is Dr. Rapture Pacino. Does this sound familiar? You have a toothache,
it's still
haven't been to a dentist in years, and money
it's also on Twitch at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, the only people I have blocked were like, there was some crazy lady like 6 years ago.
Both links for that. The super long one and the Bitly one actually shows a preview of what it is.
Right. It's I don't know.
You see how long that link is?
Yeah, it's long. No, I get it. I get it. Mike's asking if it was ribbed. It doesn't look ribbed. Oh, it's so funny.
We're here to listen and provide the right dental solution to meet your needs. Don't wait to take
Yes, please, Joe. What?
Call 1-800
again?
Visit Afton on Douglas Road,
Who's asking?
Mishawaka.
But see, here's the thing, Angie. I don't want it recorded because I want people to want to come. Because if we record it, then people don't show up. They just want to watch it from their home. And Angie invited everybody. She sent a letter to everybody. They chose not to come. But see, what the Elkhart Truth is doing is the Elkhart Truth is taking that quote and they're making it seem like since no Democrats showed up, they didn't want to engage with me. And that quote had nothing to do with that event.
Oh, Angie's the one who called them.
Yeah, well, Angie's responsible for the event, too. She put it together. Because that specifically, she's a trip. She's awesome. But that quote that the Elkhart Truth put up there, it's pure clickbait.
Yeah.
And it's working. There's a reason that I'm the #1 news story on their friggin' website for crying out loud.
Without getting stuff behind the table. Let's see.
I mean, it's
2 or
hysterical.
3 remaining. We hope that you enjoy our free content.
Ooh, Nelly. Casey's going to have to write an article, man. That's what's going to have to happen.
We have like 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
I'm not going to have enough time to finish this thing, man. All right, so here's the deal. There's 8 minutes left in this interview. I don't have time. So why don't we scrap it? I'm going to podcast it, okay? You get to listen to the whole interview when I was on Todd Starnes' radio program by going to theburningtruth.us. That's my website. I'll podcast it after the show. If you don't want to go to my website because you're scared of things, you can go to caseythehost.podbean.com. If you're on iTunes, you can subscribe to it on iTunes. If you're on Google Podcasts, you can subscribe to my podcast on Google Podcasts. If you are on Spotify, you can search my name and subscribe to my podcast on Spotify. Okay, it's there, all right? It's there. In the meantime, here's what I have to do. So I've given 2 homework assignments, if you will, for the Horde today. The Hendrickson Horde has got 2 things that they need to do. All right, so I'll put the Todd Starnes podcast up after the show. I super promise. Here's the thing. I already went over the Elkhart Truth article about me and my event, all right, in the 4 o'clock hour today. And with the exception of a blatant falsehood in the middle of the article was fair and, for the most part, truthful, all right? But little snippets here and there were picked apart and kind of put together in a way that the reader could form their own narrative. And that's exactly what has happened. What's the headline on the Elkhart Truth's Facebook post about me right now?
So here we go. So the Elkhart Truth posted this. It's their top story on their Facebook page right now.
I'm still their top news story on their website at theelkharttruth.com.
And it is a quote stating, "For some strange reason, the liberals and Democrats avoid engaging with me, and I don't know why." The 953 MNC host said, complaining that only conservatives came to the 5-star dive bar event.
That quote was not even about the event. That quote was specifically to address a social media issue that came up during the discussion of it, where I said, for some reason, I don't get engaged by many liberals on social media, which is true. I don't. There's very few. I have a few on Facebook that do it and a couple on Twitter that do it, and that's about it, right? And I did not say that about that event at all in any way, shape, or form. Period. But they made it seem that. So it's clickbait. I am the biggest thing on the Elkhart Truth's website right now. And I'm the biggest thing on their social media right now. So what has happened is they posted the article on Facebook. So you need to go to the Elkhart Truth's Facebook page, find their article about me. You can't miss it. They have the big old picture of me with a giant zit on my head because they chose not to use the event picture. They chose to use the zit picture that my station so lovingly refuses to take down off of the website in spite of repeated attempts and even me sending them edited versions that don't have the zit on there anymore. So I would ask the Hendrickson Horde if you could please go defend my honor on their page. I can't get to it from the browser again. I'm blocked out of Facebook again. It says, sorry, something went wrong. We're working on getting this fixed as soon as we can. Go back. Facebook, copyright, 2018, help. So I've got no way of getting to it except for the mobile app anymore. So if you could go and defend me, because they're telling a bunch of lies about me again, shocker. I'm not just saying that about the Elkhart Truth. I'm saying people are commenting or saying a bunch of lies about me, including that I ban a bunch of people and stuff like that. No, I've got like 2 people who threatened the lives of my family. And then one person that I had like 40 people on Facebook say, you need to ban him because all he does is come on here and insult people personally and call them names. So, okay. I gave that person 2 warnings to stop. And they didn't. So they got banned. And then they came back with another account that they had created. And then they came back with another account that they had created. And then they came back with another account that they created. And I guess they ran out of accounts. Who creates multiple accounts to do that? So I don't block people. I don't ban people. It's not something that I do. But it's interesting. For you to get blocked or banned on any of my stuff, you've got to be special dumb. So if you could, this is on Facebook, right?
Yes.
How many comments are we at now?
A total of...
Because we started at 41.
Let me scroll back up here. Sorry, I was reading all of them.
Yeah, we started at
42 comments, it says 42. On the thing. And that's not total comments. That's comments and replies included.
Okay,
so that's 42.
So we only have like a minute. Like, what are some of your favorites?
Oh, okay, so the one that honestly irks me the most right now that I just read.
Okay, irks. Okay.
So it's a reply to the comment. Hendrickson isn't the problem with this event. Peterman was.
Yeah, because Jeff Peterman was there. Okay.
And like the second reply to it is, on behalf of the Facebook page Friends of Elkhart Community Schools, thank you for your comments. No one in the pro-referendum side was invited to the event.
Yes, they were.
Peterman was given an open mic with no one to challenge the fact.
False. Two people who are in support of that referendum were supposed to come. They didn't show up.
Liberal indoctrination has destroyed the Democrats' mind. If they would awaken from the coma they are in, they would just see that the damage has been done to them.
Okay.
It's a good one on our side.
One person defending me. All right.
Well, Casey's a hack for one. I used to listen to him every day, but his lies and misinterpretations of the truth became way too much.
All right, we got to get out of here. I do sell axes, though. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Are you overpaying? You pay more taxes than
necessary when you retire. Surveys show that
Two people who support the referendum were supposed to be there.
But he was given an open mic with no one to challenge the facts.
Only because he showed up. If he wasn't there, everybody who showed up, every elected official and every candidate was acknowledged and recognized and given an opportunity. So
why not start planning around the one you can control? Call Howard today and see how the new tax
that was funny.
benefit your bottom line. These tax planning opportunities are only expected to last.
So go to the Elkhart Truth and go to their Facebook page. Go to that, comments. It's crap. That's funny.
Advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Howard Bailey Financial does not offer legal
all right.
Tracy, you paint me.
Huh?
Comment.
So there, my tax stuff was filled out. Let me actually look at the. Let me look at it. It was accepted today, and so it was under review. My affiliate tax paperwork.
Yay!
So let me see if they've approved it or not, because I did work on that for you, Tracy. Doop-a-doop-a-doo.
No, still though.
Guess I don't need that.
Is, well, gee, Mr. Conservative Radio Host. That was gonna be the last one I read. But I didn't have
That's funny.
Oh, there's the Spire.
Yeah, his dramatic video, man. All right, so let's go to.
Gee, a lot of people said that about Trump.
Said what?
That Mr. Conservative Radio Host. That's a reply to it. Oh, what? Who? No Chance Petey? And then a reply to that is, well, a lot of people said that about Trump.
Oh, they're trying to equate Trump with, or Pete with Trump?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, let's see how that works. All right,
And
so.
I also wanted to get in. Maybe it was just bad timing that no one showed up to us. You had it the same day as Pete.
Maybe Pete planned his event the same day as my event for a reason.
Maybe. Maybe it's all conspiracy, Casey.
I'm just saying. All right, so your payout setup is currently in progress. Yeah, so royalty tax interview is under review still. So that's where I'm at, Tracy. So as soon as it works, we'll be able to do that.
Yay.
Thanks, Mom. I'm going to be giving you a call in a little bit. And I don't know if you heard, I got the box. So, Angie, did you send an invite to that group or not? Because I don't even think you sent an invite to Jeff. I think he just knew about it and asked if he can come.
You got backlash. You did great.
Oh, yeah. The Elkhart Truth has not had this much traffic on their website since I was doing the Ale Underground and it was affiliated with Flavor 574. So this is why I keep I don't understand why the Truth doesn't give me a column, because every time I do anything, I drive massive amounts.
They apparently don't like you,
which is fine. But wouldn't it make sense to have me have a column in there and let their people get pissed off at me, so it drives traffic?
Here's the cure, Happy. Abandon Apple. I guess Happy's having trouble with his computer.
Oh boy!
Everyone's just like, get rid of that. Because I saw a 200 Walmart upgrade might be a better. What are you even talking about?
I mean, it might be.
And then I see Abandon Apple, and now I know what the problem is. You have an Apple.
Okay, I personally invited Jeff. Okay. Did you invite anybody from that other group or no? Now, and again, I know that
of Elkhart Community Schools.
Yeah, because I know that we had 2 people that were saying that they were going to come, but they didn't show up. But I don't know who they were from or where they were from. So.
Full House star Lori Loughlin and her fashion designer husband Massimo Giannulli pleading not guilty.
So we had audio issues at 5 Star Dive Bar because Jason, the owner, has Apple. And I was like, I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna say anything. And then his audio guy says it's about time you upgrade to a PC, dude. You invite all the Dems to a pro referendum. There you go. Got it. It's hysterical, man. It's hysterical. All right. So, any comments, questions, anything like that before we bounce out of here? And then I'm getting this Todd Starnes dealio up. Bye, Bean.
555 cases so far this year, second highest in 25 years. 20 states reporting measles cases, with nearly 2/3 of all cases and 85% of this week's cases coming from.
Well, look, had they been invited, they wouldn't have showed up. I don't think they would have. But, I mean, I would hope that they would. The whole point is for them to go ahead and defend it. All right, so now I'll get the Todd Starnes podcast up there.
Awesome. Fix that.
Well, yeah, and Tansy is, I mean, she yelled at me for no reason.
70 on Wednesday with a slight chance of a shower or storm. From the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center.
If that was winging it, I'd like to see you do something on the fly.
Right now, it's 53 degrees.
If what was winging what?
Thank you for last night. If that was winging it, I'd like to see you do something on the fly.
You bet. Have to offer free alcohol and then they'll show up. Okay. Hey man, priorities. It's the priorities. Alright, so I gotta hold on, I gotta save the Todd Starnes thing and do an MP3.
Sorry, I just can't stand the music every time.
Oh, it's awful. Let's see. All right, Comet, you take care. Appreciate it.
Bye, Comet.
Did you post it in Discord too?
The link?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can grab the link from my mobile phone and do it that way.
I would use the Bitly. The Bitly one also gave you the preview, so
it's just so.
You get to see your picture with it.
It's hysterical. God, it's just so damn hysterical.
Hey, there's Petey talking about his. Oh, they're talking about Trump and showed Pete. They're showing Pete. Makes sense, right?
The funny thing is that they're running around and pretending that I'm saying that Pete doesn't have a chance when it's other people saying it. I'm the one that's been saying for a long time he does.
I mean, is there a big chance?
It depends on the primary, man. We haven't seen him in a dogfight yet. We've got to see if he can defend himself. Lumberjacks, awesome. You're welcome. If you're talking to me, I don't know if you're talking to me.
Hey, if you haven't filed the taxes, you can't anymore without penalty. I don't think.
You can't what?
Isn't today the last day to file taxes or tomorrow?
Yeah, today's tax day. Yeah, some people told me today they didn't have a good tax day. That sucks. That sucks. I had a good tax day. Tax planning, baby. Woo.
I mean, I had a good tax day for today, and then I got my taxes done 2 weeks, a month ago. So
it wasn't really a flip flop. It was more an analysis of how he's performing, Alex. Because if he was going to get pigeonholed like that, he was in trouble. There's nothing he could do. But again, you know, as I pointed out, if he can change the campaign and he can get back onto not being pigeonholed as the gay guy from Indiana and Pence is bad, then he still has a shot. So it was more of an analysis about where he was going, but and he did, and he's still a long shot to get on the main stage. People have asked me if he's going to be on the main stage. I don't know that he's going to be on the main stage. We'll see. We'll have to see. You know, but it's always been possible.
I see.
He's definitely a long shot. All right, he's without a doubt a long shot. But as I've said, he's got the right people behind him to push him within the party. And if he can get through this wave, to be honest with you, the wave of people may help him. You know, it helped Trump, so maybe it would help somebody like Pete as well. We'll see.
You're shut up. I think you're...
No, it's not dead.
No.
The new one just came.
I must be super behind. My life must be super bad.
Yeah, I mean, I knew what you're trying. I knew what you're trying to say, but
yeah, no, that's weird. My chat's super behind, and I'm super laggy.
I mean, I'll give the analysis of how things are going. The way that he was campaigning when he was doing those late night shows was terrible. It was awful. It was going to kill him. It was going to kill him. You know, and now, as people are pointing out, does he have a platform? I haven't heard a platform yet. And so he's, you know, is he going to put a platform together? Is he going to try and run without a platform, which you can do? I mean, you can definitely run without one. So we'll see. Oh my God, you're kidding me.
What?
Won a prize from PepsiCo. The prizes sent didn't match the affidavit, so we've been in a dispute, so they wouldn't send the 1099 until today. But he called the IRS and did an other income guess. You can just do an extension. I mean, that might be the best thing to do, is to do an extension or file and then file an amendment. That might be your best thing to do.
No, they're both please.
All right.
You didn't know I was editing your liners.
I didn't pay attention, man.
I've been doing this for like a month.
I got you. I got you, Happy. All right. Well, here's the deal. I'm going to bounce out. Go to the Elkhart Truth's Facebook page. Give them the traffic they so richly deserve, but mostly just give the liberals hell because they're lying about me again. And that would be a lot of fun. So you'll have a wonderful night. I've got to go ahead and take care of this Todd Starnes thing here. I'll get the podcast up in like maybe 5 minutes.
Ooh.
It'll be ready to go.
Somebody put your live stream into the...
Good. Good. All right, folks. We's gonna bounce. You have a good time. All right. Have a good night. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tracy saying, what is the issue with having an open discussion on an issue that should be important to all people in the area? From what I understand, it was the aim of the event.
Yep.
Maybe ask why no one left wanted to interact and defend their stand. He said they all go to South Bend, which their attendance was not necessary at all.
Right.
Thank you, Tracy. I like that.
There you go. All right. Yeah, once I get the link on my phone, I'll be able to mess with it. But all right. You guys have a good night. I know I've said that like 14 times already. You take care.